that.
Yeah, I can hear you, dude. We can hear you perfectly.
Okay. What was Sam talking about?
We have professional journalist, NBA trade expert, Sam Sheehan, NBA for hire, who has been hearing things and seeing things online. So, Sam, can you give us a little bit of perspective on some of the trades that went down today?
So, I'd like to start with some of these things. I mean, people have been talking about all sorts of things. It's been a huge media day. There's Rudy Gobert's talks, but I want to go to something that happened a little while back. When Gordon Hayward left the Utah Jazz to go to the Boston Celtics, there was a very strange tweet. Very strange tweet. I mean, Jazz fans and Celtics fans will know what I'm talking about, but if you're not a fan of those teams, you'll have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So SLC Dunk, the Vox affiliate, SB Nation of the Utah Jazz, tweeted out this: Jazz fans, : you could have had a statue. Donovan Mitchell, : hold my beer. Very strange tweet.
So what does that mean?
Very strange tweet.
Sam, what does it mean?
No. So what it comes down to, we're talking, you've got to go back to what was going on during that time. They were getting into weird Jazz fans were getting into weird slap fights on Twitter. They were tweeting pictures of rocks at people who said that NBA players didn't want to live there and saying, I bet you wish you could have lived here. Let's just remember that. And what happened? What happened several days later? Do you guys remember?
No. What happened, Sam?
They had one of the biggest Twitter meltdowns of all time. The Jazz guy had to apologize.
Sam, I'm sorry to interrupt. Is this going anywhere? Is this going anywhere, or is this just for your own personal enjoyment and entertainment? Because we got a show to do here.
I mean, well, it's very important to me. I just felt like doing my my inner wind horse here. Let me. There's a different guy's gonna come on camera here real quick.
Oh, cool! Thank you, Sam. Yeah. Thank you for.
Here, I'm gonna hand it off to him. Okay. Oh, hey, I'm a new guy here.
Cool. Great. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. Hey, Matt, how you doing? Driving your car? Yeah. Please don't stare into the camera, Matt. I don't want you to crash your car.
Make sure if you T-bone anybody, they're not in their cars.
Yeah, I will not be in the car. If I get T-boned right now, I will not be in the car.
Matt, this is great content. You're cutting in and out.
4 frames per second, 1 word per.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're falling in and out, bud. I don't know if it's gonna work. Now he's completely frozen. Actually, just stay like that the whole time, Matt. Just that is going to be your whole thing. Yeah, dude. Just go.
This is like a Kevin Arnovitz on low post simulator. I love it.
This is good. All right, so let's jump headfirst into the slop that happened today. Obviously, we're going to have a showdown at some point today between Sam Sheehan, Green Teamer Sam Sheehan, and anti-Malcolm Brogdon advocate Gregory Smith, aka Nihilus Bucks. But we have to start with what is one of the weirdest trades I've ever seen. I don't really know what the fuck Minnesota is doing personally. It's my take on it. But Rudy Gobert gets traded for a fuck ton of draft picks. So he gets traded for 4 future first-round picks, unprotected, right? They were all unprotected, I believe.
No, the last one was top 5 protected.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, good. The 2029 one?
Yeah, right.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
I have
So-
a take immediately. If you want to keep introing it, go right ahead.
Sure, you can run down it.
All right. My first opinion is Tim Connolly was instructed he gets his ownership stake when he drives down attendance so much they can move him to Seattle.
There you go. Wow.
There you go.
Level.
Interesting.
And then they're gonna trade for Kevin Durant.
But
Yeah.
a little late. It's a 39-year-old Kevin Durant.
He wants to own part of a team.
Mhm.
He loves Seattle. He started his career there. He's got, as Bill Simmons says, he's got like business opportunities in Seattle, and like there's like an app or something. I don't know.
That's so strange to me because I think of Kevin Durant as only really having like business stakes in like weddings in
companies for the
Yemen
government?
that have not been bombed with his like drone technology. So yeah, that's it. That reads to me as kind of a threat if like Kevin Durant has business in your city. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, he's every Kevin Durant venture.
What's the other? Oh yeah, the other business venture I know of is the AI emoji keyboard or whatever the fuck he just invested in.
What?
Yeah, this is a
Kim
real
Emoji?
thing.
The Kanye thing, Kim Kardashian emoji.
Yeah.
Kimoji from
What?
Kimoji shut down the App Store. Is Matt really trying to get back on here?
Man, this man is
Matt,
determined.
I really don't think it's gonna work, dude.
He's determined. This is great content.
Yeah,
It's good.
he just
Oh,
left.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's gone. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, does anyone? Parm is the only person I invited Parm to come on to defend this, but he did not accept the invitation.
So
I don't.
You want me to do devil's advocate then? I can do devil's advocate.
You can
I
devil's
understand
advocate
why they
all you
did it.
want.
It's because Cat's a loser and can't play defense, and now they're
Yeah.
turning him into Bobby
I mean,
Portis.
Look, I'll say so. I have no problem with saying things that I don't believe in. So I'm absolutely. I mean, I'm technically Catholic, so I've been just going against everything that I grow up. So Gobert. So I guess the idea here is that because what I was hearing when everyone was bitching and moaning about Marcus Smart winning Defensive Player of the Year is that Rudy Gobert automatically guarantees you a top 3 defense, right?
Sure.
And the Wolves have never had any problem with scoring at all. So hypothetically, you would, but this move just on paper, you are giving yourself, a top 10 defense to go with your top 10 offense, and that's the recipe right there. That
Right, regular
you're
season
automatically probably a second round team with a little bit of upside if you can crack the top 10 in both. So, if you are worried about losing Cat, if you don't want to waste,
They're not worried about losing Cat. They just gave him a super.
Yeah,
another
they gave him a
super
super
max.
max.
Well, I mean, you guys know what I mean, though.
Doesn't matter.
in today's-
Contracts are fake, except
people,
for
yeah.
demand out.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal will demand out in 2 years. Guys just do this to get the supermax whatever contracts that they end up with. So, that on its face, if you're actually going to be good, that's not that much draft equity. What people don't remember about the Celtics Nets thing is the wheels came off way faster than
For sure.
it was supposed to. Usually when you do these giant pick swap, it's just funny that it happened to the Nets again.
Twice. Literally both times.
Yeah. Usually when you're doing these things, you don't send you might send one of them in the top 14, maybe. So if you believe in yourself and you think that you can do this, you're going to be sending, the 22nd pick, the 20th pick, the 22nd pick. And do those guys really move the needle for you? So
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
If you want to look at it that way, if you believe in yourself, sure. Now to zone out of that,
yeah,
you put in the Western Conference, it's way better now.
The picks are so far in the future that you can't predict. Okay, the fact that you have Anthony Edwards coming off his second year can make you feel a little bit good about the fact that your future is probably going to be pretty decent just with him.
Right.
He's not going to be probably a top 5 player, but he'll probably be a top 20 player or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And if he is that, then you feel pretty good about your future. You just got Cat locked up. If Cat ever does one out, then you can get a haul of draft picks back for him if you ever need to replenish, or you could get role players to put around Anthony Edwards, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
you can pivot pretty quick, like, you know.
At the same time, like I see people like saying, you know, the idea, what I joked about was like they watched the finals and they saw Robert Williams and Al Horford, and they were like, Boston's like 4th and 5th best players. And they were like, what if we had a better version of that, but we paid them?
What?
What's that?
They're what?
You don't think who would you
They're
say
higher than that, but we can come back to that. Moving on.
Who would you don't think Smart's better than those two?
No, I think Al Horford is better than Smart, and I'm gonna keep
this
stop
version of
talking
Al. But here's the thing about Al Horford: he has one great game and he looks amazing, and then he just disappears for 2 games.
I'll say it ebbs and flows. I think
especially
Rob.
in that series, I don't know. Jaylen Brown was probably their 5th best player in that final series.
I think Jalen was the only one who showed up. I think Jason Tatum was.
And Jason Tatum was also a stinker in.
But either way, my point here is that they saw what Boston did and said, what if we did that, but we also paid them $100 million combined?
What if we did that with a guy who can't shoot?
Yeah.
Like, what if we got a guy who's been played off the floor in literally every first round playoff series he's ever been in, let alone like a conference finals or something? Now, I've heard some people who kind of know things swear up and down that that is not Gobert's fault. Like, and like the Jazz are dogs on defense. Like they were
I know this is where Sam is going, but the issue with the Jazz was that no one else plays defense. And the Timberwolves just traded Jared Vanderbilt and Patrick Beverly. Theoretically, Anthony Edwards is a body type that can play defense, but
I think he'll be a
Russell.
defender.
You don't trust
D'Angelo Russell is a fine help defender.
Lock
He has
down
turned himself into a fine help defender.
Sure.
But
like you're not putting defensive stalwarts around him. In fact, the best defender that they have left is Kyle Anderson, who can't shoot and has been awful when he has been put into spot up duty. I like Kyle Anderson. I'm not. He needs the ball.
Mario,
and you
Anthony
have
Edwards
3
is
guys
not good at defense
have the
yet.
ball.
Please stop. Moving on.
Who is it? Anthony Edwards?
Yeah, he's not good at defense yet.
No,
I think he will be. But
he's got the great body type for it, and he has shown some good defensive acumen.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not doubting Anthony Edwards' any athletic achievements possible. This man is the best athlete I've ever seen.
He's crazy.
And he's just cool. Like, I don't want to shit on Wolves fans because I think it's still pretty good. I think the bigger problem here is that the rest of the West is really good, man. The West is back. They were dog shit last year. I don't think the Warriors are going to come out of the West again. I would absolutely bet again. What odds?
We have to see what happens with Durant first.
Let's
if
see.
Durant goes to Phoenix, then that's
okay. Sam. Okay. The Mavericks stink again. The Mavericks are going to stink again because Brunson's gone. Their second best player is now still Hardaway Jr. Who if he gets healthy DFS.
Still got Luka, man. I don't know.
They still have Luka,
Jazz. I don't know.
No, Mirio. Anthony Edwards got blown by Ja for the game-winning layup. Please stop talking. Moving on. Let's see. The Grizzlies were a fluke. Their depth merchants.
I don't know about that.
The way
they get Kevin Durant,
so they should have lost to the Timberwolves. Except the only reason they beat the Timberwolves was because they were just slightly deeper than the Timberwolves, and they would score a bunch of points while all the Timberwolves guys got tired because they were playing 7 people and the Grizzlies were playing 10. And then
it's also a problem. They're worse with Ja Morant on the floor.
They're still
that's a weird thing, right?
That's because their bench. No, so the net rating thing is they're worse with Ja because their bench is so good they beat the shit out of other teams' benches.
That was before they traded away DeAnthony Melton, though. So
that's true. That's true. He was the glue.
That's right.
They did bring back Tyus Jones, right?
Yeah, at $15 million a year, which I was very surprised by. But I think the West is going to be good. And to me, I'm not saying
Clippers are theoretical until proven otherwise. Same with the Nuggets. I'm tired of hearing about the healthy Clippers and Nuggets.
The Nuggets.
Stop talking about. They don't exist.
don't know.
The Nuggets have Jokic. Like, I mean, and then in the Clippers' best player is Kawhi Leonard, and he is theoretically healthy. Jokic is always going to be healthy, and like the team around him that they put around him now with Bruce Brown and KCP, and like you with Bones taking the next step. Like, I do think that the Nuggets are going to be pretty good as long as Jamal Murray is somewhat Jamal Murray.
Even if Michael Porter Jr. is in the Hector Salamanca wheelchair for like the rest of his career, they're still a really good team. Like, I don't know. I think I just think
okay. I have to just re-question everything you guys just said. They do have DeAndre Jordan.
Oh, that was
somebody said this on Twitter. I'm sorry I forgot who said it. I want to credit them, but they said that was to juice the on-off stats for.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday.
Yeah.
Chiodo brought it up. It might have been before you were on the podcast, but Chiodo brought it up and said this is literally just a move to get his on-offs better. But if they actually play DeAndre Jordan as the backup center, then I'm like, honestly, they should. Like, Boogie Cousins is better than DeAndre Jordan, and like, not even a question. No,
I know.
I watched DeAndre Jordan. He's the worst player in the NBA.
Boogie is such negative vibes that he makes the team worse.
Well, clearly Denver didn't even want him back. But all right, so just kind of hitting on that point, like my analog for this trade, and I'm not saying that Rudy Gobert isn't way better than this player, but it reminded me of the Vucevic trade for the Bulls, where like we're going to be competitive, we're going to speed up the timeline, we're going to whatever, and like the Wolves will be better than the Bulls because the Wolves just have, generally speaking, better talent. And I do think that them trading, like they traded way more than the Bulls traded for Vooch, which is like they traded twice the amount of draft picks. They didn't trade a prospect quite like Wendell Carter, but they traded a ton of fucking picks. And my whole thing is like you're angling yourself to be a little bit more competitive. And like, look, maybe it works. Maybe like they just go all in on like this, like having these four guys, D'Lo, Cat. Well, they're trying to get rid of D'Lo, but they won't be able to. D'Lo, Cat, Ant, Rudy Gobert, and then just say like, fuck it, we're gonna do basically what the Sixers did that one year, where we just have no depth and we're just flying by the seat of our pants with our top four guys. But like I'm just very skeptical. I think regular season wise they're going to be really good. I think playoffs wise I don't buy it.
Well, they still have Noel, Beasley, and McDaniels, so they have some depth.
No, they traded Beasley. They have
Beasley's in the trade. Okay, well they still have McDaniels and Jalen Noel. It's like, how do you not get one of those guys if you're the Jazz? It's like,
I think that was why they gave so many picks, because they wanted to keep those guys.
That's true. That also
makes sense. They have Jordan McLaughlin as well.
So. Yeah, they're starting point future.
Okay, so like
legitimately, I could see them starting McLaughlin at the 1 and D'Lo at the 2.
Can I say something though? I like this trade better than the Dejounte Murray trade. I think the Dejounte Murray trade was a worse trade, and I think that was a stronger analog to the Vooch trade, because the difference here for me is while Rudy Gobert is an older player and a more expensive player, he's also an all NBA player.
He's very good. Yeah.
A center who, like, ostensibly, I don't think is going to age like dog shit. Like, he's already plotting. What, he's going to get slower? Like, you know, that's not going to happen. So, I don't know. I don't think it's a good trade, but I certainly don't think it's like a bad trade. Like, I'm sure one of those last picks is going to be nasty, but they also like didn't trade like pick swaps. They didn't like do any of this other stuff. So like, you know, they are going to get other guys. Like, they're going to be bringing in talent. It's not going to be like the Nets, who were like literally bringing in dog shit every like time they did it. So I just don't think the wheels are not going to fall off as fast for the Wolves as it did for the Joe Johnson, Darren Williams,
for sure,
corpse of Paul Pierce Nets. So
yeah. No, that makes sense. But also these picks are like what, 4 years from now, like 4 or 5.
Well, one's next year. One's
23,
you love
25,
age
27, 29. It's just
okay.
Yeah. 1 year, 1 year.
So the 1 year you don't care about that. The Wolves are going to be good next year. It's fine, whatever. 2 years from now,
that one is fine too. It's those last two that might hit you a little. But
so Parm, why do you love this trade for your Wolves?
First of all, I hate trickle down Angenomics. It's a failed economy system. It doesn't work. Proven time and time again that Angenomics is a failure.
Actually, it is true if you think about it, because the second that he was overthrown in Boston, they got to the finals because Brad just got in there and said draft picks aren't real, and we're going to trade for Derek White and now Malcolm Brogdon.
We did another one, yeah. And moving up for Al Horford, moved off Kemba. This is the third year in a row we've traded on a draft pick.
Yeah.
Second of all, what is the coolest thing you can do in basketball? Twin Towers. Done.
Sure.
Sold.
Did anyone see the meme of Luka in the plane flying into Gobert and Cat in the Twin Tower?
Oh, no.
No. Sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to bring that up. But yeah, it was good. It was very good. But actually, the more that we have talked through it, the more I get Minnesota's side of it for sure. Like, I don't think that it is. I just think when you're trading away that many unprotected draft picks in the future, that like you got to get like a guy is like for example, like you said, the DeJounte Murray thing is like kind of a disaster. Like if DeJounte Murray and Rudy Gobert are going for 4 first-round picks, and it was filler in the DeJounte trade, it was a few prospect / players in the Jazz trade, then what the fuck is Kevin Durant going to go for?
No, that's the insane part.
It's gonna be like 7.
Have a deal for him. I don't understand. Yeah. This is why I don't think it's going to happen. Like,
I have a prediction.
Yeah.
My prediction is that the Suns are going. So the Nets are going to say, we want to go into full rebuild mode. And like, I actually don't think they're going to want to try to get players back, even though I know it's like, whatever, and like they shouldn't tank and blah blah blah. I'm not saying that they're like gonna full on tank, but I think they're gonna look at the players that they would get back from the Phoenix Suns, and they're gonna say, if we can move these players right now, they're at the peak of their value potentially. We don't want Ayton. They have already said they don't want Ayton, so Ayton does nothing for them. Move Ayton for maybe 2 firsts to a team like Utah, who now has a ton of firsts. And then move Mikal Bridges for like 2 firsts to another team and get back whatever you can get back. And then you just literally get every pick and every swap from the Suns for the next decade, 2 firsts for Ayton, 2 firsts for Bridges. And then you have like a fuck ton of draft picks, and you can just kind of go from there. Now, once again, maybe they choose not to tank, but like
trade. 5-team trade.
But that's what you said, it was going to be a 5-team trade, and then the Jazz made their trade. Or is that the Donovan Mitchell trade, do you think?
It's not finalized. 5-team trade.
It's still happening?
5-team trade.
Okay.
5-team trade.
I feel like this is like, I'm trying to think of some sort of comparison here for like when you're just constant. It's like Dr. Dre's Detox. You've been talking about the 5-team trade for like 3 days. Are we ever going to get it?
It's been exactly like 12 hours or 24 hours. What are you talking about?
Dog years. I age in dog years. So
slop years. Slop years are.
I got that dog in me. So
yeah,
I age
true.
in dog years.
That pig dog, that slop dog. Yeah. So, but back to what you were saying, the fact that they didn't give up Jaden McDaniels, they still have Naz Reid. They got Kyle Anderson. They still have Jalen Noel.
Jordan McLaughlin. Put some respect on his name.
Jordan McLaughlin. Like they are like potentially like at least 7 or 8 deep. And like in the playoffs, like obviously injuries happen and shit, but like in the playoffs, you need to be like, I think what the Celtics did today was really smart, but I also think that like
he's not going to play in the playoffs, so it won't matter.
Yes. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But like having 1 through 7, which is why I like the Sixers offseason, was because like I felt like last year I could trust 4 guys. And now I feel like I can trust like 6.5 to 8 guys. And like, that's really all you like. The Bucks, how they won the title 2 years ago, they had a 7-man rotation by the finals. Like they also had Giannis. Like that helps a lot.
Oh, you're saying DJ Wilson isn't the straw that stirs the drink? Is that what I'm to be?
Was he even on the team? No,
he got traded for PJ.
Oh, okay.
He got traded for PJ with DJ Augustine.
Yeah, it was the DJ trade.
Yeah, but
speaking of why we were in a 7-man rotation, not an 8-man rotation, but we can finish your topic and then we'll move to
but
why
the Timberwolves are from being like pretty deep with some promising prospects to like slightly less deep with a better high-end talent in Gobert.
Yes.
Now we can talk about the Kings getting rid of Dante for the deluxe model.
So, Parm, any last thoughts on the Gobert trade?
Yeah. Why are you getting hung up on the picks? They're the Timberwolves picks. Who are they gonna fucking draft with them? Jarrett Culver 3 times? Who gives a shit? You get Rudy Gobert. They're gonna fuck up any of those picks if they make him anyway.
Jaden McDaniels is a good pick, right?
This is true, but I kind of only believe he got drafted by the Wolves because they heard that his shitty brother on the Hornets existed, and they go, "Oh, his brother plays in the NBA. I guess that means he's a person. We'll pick him. Fuck it."
It's good DNA right there.
I will say this though, you do have Tim Conley, who is like a strong drafter, so that there is like that aspect to it. Like it's not like David Kahn is like still running the shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, this is what I'm saying. Like, what you saw us get rid of fucking Aaron Nesmith and Romeo Langford. Like, those guys were fucking 14 and 50, 60, whatever the fuck, that middle of the first round. Like, it just doesn't, like, and Danny Ainge did a really good job drafting outside of those guys. We got Rob.
It was weird. He just had two bad back-to-back drafts at the end of his tenure. But like everything up until then was like pretty much fine.
I'd even argue.
It was bad. It was
Romeo. Bad. I still. Aaron Nesmith is not an NBA player, but I'd argue Romeo. I still think Romeo Langford can like do something. He's just like, I'm hoping the Spurs can like. There's a reason Lonnie Walker got cut and not Romeo Langford. I think, but
he's a TikTok teen. Romeo Langford.
He just gets hurt, but he is good. Like he's defended well in the past, but. But my point here for the Timberwolves, though, is even if you fucking barely sneak into the, playoffs, if you're a 7 or an 8 seed again, and you are giving up the 17th, pretty rarely fucking matters. Like after you get outside of like the top 7, all the draft picks are kind of the same. You know, like you can still get a huge guy at like 30. You get Desmond Bain.
I'm not saying that. And look, there are plenty of GMs that agree with this theory. Brad Stevens or really Mike Zarin.
Yeah.
Daryl Morey agrees with that. Like there are plenty of good GMs that have this mindset. Mm-hmm. But if your scouting department is good and you are contending and you're looking for guys that like will help sustain the window. Now, once again, like teams like Philly, teams like Boston, whatever, like they should push in the chips. It makes sense. Teams like Minnesota, like you're arguably like Anthony Edwards could be their best player next year and he's like 21. Like I understand having patience. Like if Boston did this 3 years ago, we would have been like, that's a little bit weird, even though like their team was pretty good. It wasn't like a pushing all the chips moment where you're selling off every draft pick. Now they have all their draft picks, and now their guys are closer to their prime, and it got them to the finals by making those kind of push in the chips moves.
Right.
Is Josh Harris on Shark Tank?
No, he should be, though. He's
got such a great personality.
A-Rod is.
Even Cuban
A-Rod's
was like,
making deals left, right, and center, baby. It's the king of deals.
So here's the other thing about this, something I learned cheering for a Danny Ainge team, and something that I think Presti is starting to run into and he's trying to get out ahead of. It's also like not a good thing to have a lot of draft picks.
It true.
Fucking sucks. You can't
do
Bitcoin with them because everybody wants the optics of taking you to the fucking cleaners. You want, like, if a team has 1 billion draft picks, they ask you for 2 more draft picks than they ask a team that's pick neutral because they know you have them. So, like, I think,
and also as you said before on the podcast, they want the good picks. They don't want your picks. They want the picks that you got from the shitty team that like the Nets or whoever, like when you guys had the Nets picks, or the Grizzlies or the Kings.
And this is why what the Knicks did on draft night, like, isn't that good. It's fucking 3 protected dog shit picks for number 11. Like, number 11 can be an NBA starter. Those other 3 picks, I almost guarantee you, are like gonna top out at like a rotation guy unless you get really fucking lucky and you happen to pick one of the 2 fringe all-star guys who goes after 14 in every draft.
Sure. So in real life, yes, but we're talking about the New York Knicks, who way better outside of the lottery than any lottery pick will ever
They
draft.
do really bad in the lottery for some reason. But I do just want to say, like, speaking of the Knicks, I think the Knicks strategy has been like, all right, we'll get Jalen Brunson. We'll have everything in place. We'll have the second guy in RJ Barrett. We'll have the third guy in Jalen Brunson. And then we'll just have all these picks. And we'll have a bunch of tradable salary so that when Donovan Mitchell asks out or whoever the next star that asks out that actually would put the Knicks on their list, like asks out, then we'll just pop him in and then immediately we'll have a good team, right? Like that's like the theory behind it.
Right.
But by the way, Jalen Brunson is better than RJ Barrett, but I'm saying like in theory, if RJ Barrett continues to get better, he would be the second guy. So I do just want to say though, like kind of what you're going off here is picks are losing kind of like their value, like as a currency. And like if these kind of players are going for like flawed stars, good players, very good players, DeJounte Murray, and Rudy Gobert, who's even better than DeJounte Murray, are going for 4 first-round draft picks, then the stars, even like the Donovan Mitchells, who like, you know, look, Donovan Mitchell's also very flawed, but like he has star appeal in a way that Utah knows that Rudy Gobert doesn't. And like, he's going to command a larger haul of whether it's draft picks or prospects or whatever. My whole point on this is like,
I love
what's up?
I just love the leak, the fake leak from Watch. Well, we're looking to build around Donovan Mitchell. Our Donovan Mitchell is not for trade T-shirt is answering your question about Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah. What was it like Andy Lassner, like the Jazz, I forget his name, Andy L, like came out like literally like 10 minutes later and was like, no, that's not true. Like they would absolutely trade Donovan Mitchell.
The local reporter was like, no, that's absolute cap.
Yeah, not true,
in the whitest way possible, in the most Utah way possible. But yet I did see that. Like, I do think that the Mitchell is still like available if you absolutely blow them away with an offer. But once again, every team that could be interested in Donovan Mitchell is also interested in Kevin Durant right now. And Kevin Durant is actually available. And Kevin Durant is 100 times better than any other player you'll ever be able to trade for. So,
well, and I guess this is the paradox because these guys just aren't available because they're just not traded. If you have one of these guys, you fucking keep them, like, of course, unless they
force you.
Yeah, unless they ask out or something. But like, the thing is, I mean, well, this is the other thing. The other reason I like roll my eyes at like how smart Presti is and why I don't think Danny Ainge should get a lot of credit. Like, we just got lucky with the Nets thing. Selling in the NBA is so much easier than buying. It's so much easier to get an enormous.
Pinky did it too.
Like, yeah. There's there's not like, wow, you're doing like a great job. Like, you know, teams don't. It's just so hard to get like everyone was pretty nervous when the Bucks traded for Drew Holiday.
Everyone?
No, everyone except for you because you knew that Giannis was.
You're a psycho.
But to be fair,
Max was signed like 3 months before it was actually signed.
To be fair, David Griffin also didn't know that, which is a good piece of information to
they intentionally withheld it so that they could get the third guy before it was so that price would come down a little bit.
Smart move, but at the time we were all like, if Giannis leaves, but that's also a PR thing. That's also like an optics thing. Like, we're gonna wait because we can get the most value for our draft picks now before we announce it.
But I'm saying like nobody. But does anybody like feel like that's like the best possible version of the big buy is what happened?
Is immediately win a championship.
Right. Well, immediately win a championship. He hangs around. Everything's kumbaya. Nobody's like rocking the boat.
Like,
yeah. Like it's the absolute perfect version of that. And nobody is really like, damn, like the Bucks fleeced the Pelicans, even though we probably should be like that. Because it's just not how the optics go. Everyone looks at draft picks and jacks off. Like it's
true.
That's like something.
Do we know who they got with those picks? Trey Murphy,
Kira Lewis, and
I don't even think they got Kira Lewis. I think that was their own pick.
Was it?
NB, do you know any of the picks that they've picked for you guys yet?
Was none of the 20 the let's see. Last year's pick was Desmond Bane.
Yeah, that ended up in the Celtics somehow. I can't remember what.
And
the Celtics had the Desmond. Oh yeah.
Or we had that pick. Was that the Bledsoe pick? The Bledsoe pick was Kevin Huerter Jr. And then this pick was Desmond Bane.
I think we got it from the.
They don't pick until 2024.
Yeah.
Dude, that's actually amazing when you consider the players that were like. I know the Bledsoe pick was from when they originally traded for Bledsoe, not with Bledsoe. But like considering that you just said Kevin Porter Jr. and Desmond Bane, like those are like the twoest high-end outcomes, like especially Desmond Bane, like the highest end outcome you could ever have from the 30th pick.
Yeah, it's like him and Jimmy Butler are like the best 30th picks of all time. So
yeah, exactly.
But this is like kind of what I'm saying. Like you just end up like
because the Bucks can't draft for shit. Sorry to interrupt you, Sam. But
but that's another thing.
But this is what I'm saying though. Like the Celtics in both those drafts, like they got Grant Williams and Peyton Pritchard is a pretty good prospect for like where he was picked. It's just that like it was the same draft that they. Yeah. Well, it's because Bane went later, and then it was the same draft they fucked up the Maxey pick by taking Nesmith. Yeah, I think everybody's, I think draft, like people are getting better on the draft. Like there's less and less huge draft fuck ups outside of the Kings.
Sure.
So like,
yeah,
that made it seem like even worse. So, but I just think like team building wise, like we still like have a ways to go to like catch up with this shit, and like it's getting a little more extreme every year. Where like more and more teams just don't have a draft pick. Like there were only like 23 teams picking in the first round this year, I think. And like eventually that's gonna like come down to 20, and then eventually like there's being a seller. That's why the Spurs making this pivot. There's not that many sellers right now. Anytime you can pivot to being one of the only sellers, it's huge. Detroit's trying to get out of that right now. They're like building their guys.
It's why I was absolutely fucking floored that we got DeAnthony Melton for the 23rd pick. And by the way, DeAnthony Melton's good. He's a 6-man fringe starter type.
Yeah,
good player. Maybe has starter upside, but like the fact that we got like wherever he is in the league. In terms of that, like I was like, oh my God, how did we get DeAnthony Melton? And like if your draft pick turns out to be DeAnthony Melton, you're like, that's fine. Like it's like if you always think
good thing they drafted the MVP.
I just think the Grizzlies have draft hubris. Like I think they got lucky more than anything. And like if they
they did get lucky with certain things, but they definitely have.
Man, it's also like in contrast to saying, man, those Warriors just got lucky so many times. Yeah. It's insane.
Either the Grizzlies are lucky, or perhaps my picks are good. Perhaps all the guys that I weirdly get super excited for are good at basketball.
Paul Marino. I'm sorry, butchering your name. I'm sure. Can the Sixers trade any picks? Can trade exactly the 2029 pick. That's it.
Right. Yeah. We can also trade swaps, but I don't think that Morey doesn't generally trade swaps unless it's part of a deal where you get Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
I was going to say swaps are also just kind of worthless when you know the team's good. Like it's just like, well,
true. Yeah. But by the way, every team is hedging, and by the way, or not even hedging, betting on the fact that the Sixers are going to be bad in a few years, and it's not a bad bet to make when you consider James Harden's old, Embiid is
a center.
And also, like, just injury prone. Like,
I was gonna say, like, Embiid could just like all of a sudden miss like the last 20 games of the season, like, and Embiid just all of a sudden
there's one of two ways that this goes. Embiid is either he could be done by the time he's at the end of this contract. He could be done in the halfway through this contract. No one knows. And then the other part of it is he could just get fed up with the Sixers and say, I want out of here, and it's going to make the Sixers worse almost no matter what. So it's not the worst bet in the world to make that the Sixers are going to be bad in 2025 like the Thunder did.
Derek White swap made me nervous. I'm still a little nervous about it. We're in the NBA Finals, but anytime a pick swap is happening after your guys are under contract, it's a little fucked up. Like,
But you guys will you'll definitely have Tatum under contract.
I think it's the year.
2020.
Jalen will be out. Like Jalen will be well out from under contract. Jalen's only got 2 years left.
Yeah, but Jalen's going to extend now. I feel like the fact that. But here's the thing: if you know that he's not going to extend, you're going to be able to flip him for probably someone who's better than him. That's the thing. Jaylen Brown is perfectly in that sweet spot of player where people think he's like dude. Like I know a ton of casual NBA fans who are like, Jaylen Brown's way better than Jason Tatum. Like, not even close. And like, I'm not saying that that's the league's perspective, but like, Jaylen, what's up?
It's not. It's not. That's what I'm saying. Is the NBA
not,
team,
but like, we're talking about Jaylen Brown in a trade for Kevin Durant. Durant, literally one of the 20 best basketball players of all time.
Yeah,
and he's what makes me pretty fucking good.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that makes me nervous is I think we do have one of the better packages if we want to go there. I just don't think that there's any urgency on the part of the Celtics to like go back. And you could argue maybe they should because they were heavily depending on a 9 million-year-old Al Horford having a huge renaissance year. So
right. And you're getting mad. Also, look at the screen right now, by the way.
Yeah. So I saw this. Yeah. And I think the exact opposite is going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I think now that Gobert got traded, everyone's going to race to trade every single fucking one of their guys. And the Nets are going to sit and wait on it and be like, oh, we're going to get 45 fucking years worth of picks. It's not going to happen. It's impossible. You're going to end up with
the Morey thing where they wait as long as possible.
And I think they're going to end up with like 3 picks, maybe some swaps. And then everyone on Twitter is going to call like Alex Rodriguez the dumbest son of a bitch on the planet because he didn't get Kevin Durant and got Rudy Gobert. Like Kevin Durant would ever play for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
So
he would play for the future Seattle Supersonics though.
Woj. So for anyone who's listening on the audio version, Woj just said that the Gobert trade has emboldened the Nets to ask for the biggest haul in history, which honestly, like,
should have been anyway. Like, it was always going to be the biggest haul.
It's Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
I literally think I'm just going to name every podcast where I talk about the Kevin Durant trade. It's Kevin Durant.
Please, don't make me tap the sign.
Exactly. Right. Like it's crazy how people talk about like Kevin Pelton on the Low Post saying like, well, if they could get away with not trading Bam Adebayo, and I'm like, are you fucking joking? Bam Adebayo, you're literally like.
The Scotty Barnes shit
marginally
is so
better than Omer Yurtseven.
Yeah.
And I put something in private chat. I had a dumb thought. I definitely can't say it on air. I want to see the reaction.
I saw it, and it's certainly something. But my thoughts on like just in general trading for Kevin Durant. Like, what are the other biggest hauls? The Anthony Davis haul was huge, right?
I mean, well, yeah, and then Shea Gilgeous-Alexander plus like 7 firsts or whatever it was.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's talk about this as just a money laundering scheme. Okay, the Thunder trade their war chest and Shea for Kevin Durant, and then turn around and trade Kevin Durant for better stuff than their like 2027 protected first round pick from like the fucking Magic or whatever the fuck.
they trade all their upcoming picks like from 23 to 25, like get those out the door and only have like
we joke about this, but they literally just did that with the Nuggets.
I know, I'm saying no, they consolidate their assets into Kevin Durant, and also it looks like a nice homecoming story. And then also we just turn around and trade Kevin Durant. This is I solved it. We did it.
I mean, well, number one, the Thunder won't do that because they need to be able to put like Shea in like a vampire coffin and push him off a waterfall.
I need to see Kevin Durant being asked in a press conference about how excited he is to play with Chet.
They gave Dort that contract just because they were like, look, we felt bad that you were indentured servant for a few years.
You were paying us to play in the NBA.
Like you were like a good player and we were paying you $1.8 million. We
somehow treated you worse than an NCAA player. Like
seriously, like Lou Dort's pretty good, and they were literally just like, yeah, we're going to pay you the least amount of money we could possibly pay you. And then the last year they were like, you know what? We kind of fucked up. Like, we'll take that last year away, and we'll give you a lot of money because you're pretty good. So, and honestly, the more I look at that contract, the more I go, actually, it's a good contract because you're back ending for the years that we treated you like shit and paid you like nothing.
Yeah, that contract kind of reminds me of the Jay Crowder one when the Celtics signed him to that like big extension for like what was like $7 million a year, but I think it's like maybe it's a little more, but it's like a pretty comparable number under like the cap. You know, like I think that also just might be like a straight up good contract in like 2 years.
That's what I said was like because people are freaking out about the Anthony Simons contract, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. He's 22. I know that everyone thinks that Anthony Simons is like, a lot of people don't think he's particularly like that good, but like he's one of the best shooters in the NBA. He's a pretty good ball handler, decent playmaker. He's 22 years old and he's making $25 million, which right now for the next 4 years is going to be like whatever percentage of the cap. But when the cap spikes, it's going to be like 20% of the cap. And also, average starters right now make like 18 to 22 million.
Well, that's the thing is like the cap keeps going up. Like the spikes keep happening. It's not like it spikes and levels out. Like it just keeps fucking climbing.
Right.
So like you need to like recalibrate every year. Like I remember getting like upset because like Brandon Bass was making like $6 million and like that like 10 years ago. And that's nothing now. That's like the equivalent of $3 million. Like I think literally the taxpayer mid-level was $3 million at that time, and now it's 6. Like it's like literally doubled. So it's just like so hard to like keep up, especially if you're like a casual fan, to keep up with like what like the big numbers are. Because like during the LeBron decision, the biggest number you could have was $30 million. Now like pretty regularly guys are getting 50 or like close
Tobias
to
Harris is getting 40 for some reason.
Like it's just like hard. It's just hard to like keep up with like that idea. And I think that's why like
we should just do percentages really, because if you just did the percentage, you would be like, it's fine. Like Jalen Brunson's contract isn't going to look too bad in 2 or 3 years when it's towards the end of it.
Yeah. It's like 16% of the cap or something like that. Yeah.
Even talent-wise, though, what's the beef with it?
Oh,
Jalen Brunson's good.
NB, I got news for you. Free agent Dante DiVincenzo has agreed to a 2-year $9.3 million deal with the Golden State Warriors.
What? Oh, he's the new Gary Payton. That makes a lot of sense.
What White Dante in the Bay? Interesting.
Okay, so he's completely useless on offense, like Gary Payton II. He's kind of good on defense, but his defense is completely overrated. Gary Payton's much better.
Payton's good. Yeah.
I thought they were legitimately. I thought they should consider trading for Thibault because he would kind of do this exact same thing.
And he'll make less money actually.
Dante cannot hit a layup. So I cannot wait for the Warriors to lose some stupid regular season game because Dante rolls to the hoop and bricks the layup as the time.
I was going to say that's the only thing Thibault can do, but it's usually because he's wide open. He shoots 70%.
Dante shoots better from 3 than 2, and he doesn't shoot well from 3.
That's wild. What are the? Is this must be the mini mid level that they're using, right?
Yeah.
Because they can't hard cap themselves with the biannual. So like,
sure.
Where the fuck were they on Bruce Brown? Like,
because Bruce Brown got more than the mini mid level, didn't he? Get like
no, he got the taxpayer mid level with Denver.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
how did Bruce Brown only get that?
He said he took less for fit in a but who knows what that's true or not.
Yeah,
Bruce Brown's.
He also just wanted to leave the Nets. I know that.
Yeah, well, he didn't even get. He said the Nets didn't even make him an offer.
Yeah, because the NBA doesn't care about COVID. Yeah. They don't care that Bruce Brown's such a dog that there's no way he wouldn't get the COVID-19 vaccine and risk having his team's performance lessened by his inability to play.
Yeah. PJ Tucker, Bruce Brown, they're getting that vaccine just for.
It's my favorite commercial of all time.
I guess just what I'm thinking. It's just so rich after everyone sucked off Joe Lacob for like paying the championship tax or whatever, and they immediately let all of these fucking guys walk. Like Otto Porter.
It's actually kind of crazy. No, but the funniest part about it is
I can understand letting one of these guys walk because I, again, as for some reason the biggest Kuminga believer on this panel.
Untrue.
No. Parm loves Kuminga.
Untrue.
Yeah.
Untrue.
I think
Jonathan
Kuminga can
Kuminga is a New
absolutely
Jersey boy.
take at least Otto Porter's role. I think Kuminga can play bigger than
How
that.
about this?
But
How about this though? You fucking admit you were wrong. Trade Wiseman for fucking nothing. Somebody would take him for nothing.
Salary dump him.
The Thunder. Okay, we need to talk about Sam Presti being a fucking fraud ass bitch last night.
So he didn't even take anything into cap space, right?
Yeah. So I'm so fucking mad. They wasted $23 million in cap space. They had until last night at 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock at Eastern to use $23 million in cap space, or it's gone forever. And they just didn't do anything.
Detroit.
They didn't take any salary. Because it's just insane.
I
do have a question.
And Detroit kind of have the rest of the league over the barrel now, because I've been monitoring this as somebody like the Celtics had that TPE that's pretty big, and I kind of wanted them to take on salary dump money with that. They're not going to use it now, but like I kind of wanted them to take on like salary dump money to get picks, and they're not going to use that either. There's not a lot of places left to dump salary, and somebody's going to need to do it. Like, so those teams are in pretty good shape right now.
I cannot wait for oh my god, I cannot wait for a national audience to see Dante DiVincenzo fail to hit a layup. I'm so excited.
The Warriors fans are going to like crucify him. They're
second-year
so
player
into their
option
bad
for Dante DiVincenzo, by the way.
What?
He has
Sorry,
a player option.
I saw that. Awful.
Which is kind of weird because
I didn't think anyone was going to offer him more than the minimum that the Lakers were trying to bully him. Yeah, Slop, I guess if you didn't see it in the chat.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, the Lakers were basically trying to bully Dante into taking a minimum for them.
I mean, I was literally like, I would trade Cork Moss to the Kings and just try to do a sign and trade because I don't think Dante's
qualifying offer.
Yeah, well, yeah, but he was an unrestricted free agent. They could still do.
Yeah, I guess they would still technically have Bird. Never mind.
So, I just want to say that like I think that Dante is viewed as better than he is.
Correct.
For two reasons.
He sucks.
Because of the national championship game. And because of the fact that a lot of people especially from my perspective, a lot of people on Philly Twitter just think anyone who goes to school at Villanova is good. Like I literally had people like when Eric Pascal, whatever his name is, he got waived by the Jazz or they didn't pick up whatever.
The Warriors,
they were like, we got to get him. And I was like, he's horrible. Like he's not good at all. So
also Dante got gassed up being the 5th best defender on the floor with the Milwaukee Bucks. Like,
sure, yeah, he got Hollingered, where his advanced analytics looked a lot better because he was literally the 5th best defender on the floor, like you said. Like, and I always would argue when people would talk about like, oh, this guy's defense actually isn't that bad because advanced analytics, and I'm like, well, he's literally always on the floor with Joel Embiid. So, like, of course his advanced analytics aren't that bad.
Unless his name is DeMarcus Cousins and you have somehow Giannis on the floor with you, you have the worst defensive rating in the history of history of players playing with Giannis since like 2014.
It's very rare.
Yeah. Well, Giannis was actively punting minutes to get him cut off the team. That's irrelevant. Anyway.
So did we already ask this question?
You give like I don't think Bruce Brown even got a fucking player option. So you give him a player option for like 1.3 million less per year than Bruce Brown, or
who's good,
but you're gonna be fucked anyway. That's a $15 million contract on that second year. We're not a contract, but like with the tax payments and everything.
Oh my god, with the repeater tax, that's like a $20 million contract.
That's more than that.
Yeah,
because what? Gary Payton's contract was going to be like $50 million a year.
And to be more worth it than paying Dante DiVincenzo. Dante DiVincenzo being like, I don't know. The Warriors are such fucking frauds, dude. Like, I don't know. They lucked into Steph because
it's Steph Curry merchants. It's crazy that they are praised for being Steph Curry merchants.
They are literally somehow valued if I'm Joe Lacob, which he also just respect to him. Obviously, He does spend most of the time. I will give him. He actually wants to see his basketball team win. He could have stopped this a long time ago. I will say this. How the fuck do you not pull the plug before Steph retires? Because currently your franchise is valued at like $5 billion because Steph is like made you one of the most popular teams in the NBA. This shit is not going to sustain past Steph. You got to sell fucking now.
He thinks the party's going to go on forever, which has been the company line.
Because he thinks he's smart. Like, they think that they are the ones who created this, and that's not what fucking happened. They got lucky twice. They got lucky
lucky that the Milwaukee Bucks picked fucking Monte Ellis because Steph's ankles were garbage. They got lucky that fucking that the Timberwolves fucking took Johnny fucking Flynn,
that's what it was.
Arm's gonna yell at me, Ricky Rubio, and they got fucking...
and they got Draymond. Those are the two things they got. Also Draymond.
They also almost traded. They also almost traded Klay Thompson for Kevin Love.
Yeah, but
then DeAndre Jordan signed a fucking max offer sheet with them, and that they got the Clippers was it the Clippers match? But anyway, they would have not had the cap space for Kevin Durant if he had actually taken the offer sheet.
By the way, the Celtics almost ruined their franchise too. They almost traded 4 first-round picks for fucking Justice Winslow. But anyway, I guess what I'm saying is like what is like the huge hits. I also think Jordan Poole's like tremendously overrated. Like, I think
he's a very good player. I like him.
He's an incredible player, but like if he weren't on the Warriors, like if he were doing this for, I don't know, like is Jordan Poole better than Desmond Bane?
No.
But who do you hear about more? Like
because Desmond Bane can like play defense and also do a lot of what Jordan can pull.
And Jordan Poole or Desmond Bane's a better point guard than Jordan Poole.
Right.
That's not.
I also obviously have beef with the Warriors for obvious reasons, but like I don't know. I don't know. It seems insane to me.
Total shot. I meant more. Yeah, he obviously Jordan Poole can self-create better, but anyway.
But Bane's very good though. I mean, I would definitely take. I personally would take Bane and Maxey over Poole, but I do think Poole's pretty good.
So with less depth, no Otto Porter Jr., no Gary Payton the second.
I think they'll be fine with Otto Porter Jr. I'm going to keep saying it because I believe in Kuminga.
Okay,
I believe more in Moody than I believe in Kuminga.
It's Moses. You're counting a lot on Moses Moody and Kuminga now.
But I also think that Moody slots nicely into the OPJ gap because he can shoot, he can play defense, he's a smart player, and he's also like. I always felt like Moses Moody coming out in the draft was a little bit plug and play if he didn't go to a really good team. Like if the Sacramento Kings took him over Davion Mitchell last year, we would be like, damn, Moses Moody's like kind of got some juice to him. But because he went to the Warriors and only played like 15 games or whatever, like you won't hear about him that much. I think Kuminga will be decent eventually. Like I think
keep sleeping on Congolese Vince Carter, dude.
Oh, do not put that
stay sleeping.
Do not put that ceiling on Jonathan Kuminga. Don't you do that to my boy.
Yeah, if his career turns out to be like Vince Carter's, it's literally the 175th percentile of outcome. Like I don't know. Be Aaron Gordon. Like
I just think we get too carried away with like these guys like out of like the rookie like. Tyler Hero, like everyone thought Tyler Hero was going to be like
the next Devin Booker.
Right. Yeah, he's not that good. Like he's like
CJ McCollum, but worse.
Yeah, he's Jamal Crawford McLemore. Like it's just, that's like what you have right now with him. I don't know. I just think that the Warriors are going to kind of regret. Like it's a hubris thing. Like they think that it's still the beginning of the Steph run. When you had Steph on like what was that contract? Like $15 million a year.
Yeah.
Whatever the same shit fucking Tyreek Evans got.
Yeah.
Tyreek Evans and the best point guard in NBA.
Kemba, I think, too, got that 12.
The Warriors are in a little bit of deep shit here. I just don't think they could lose in the second round pretty fucking easily. Like
unless they play the Kevin Durant Suns, I simply just do not see this happening.
Yeah. I think they're gonna have an issue because the smart basketball move at this point for them, they will never do it. They'll never get rid of Klay.
Yeah,
and like you have to like he's
Wiseman.
not good.
They should like trade Wiseman too. Like, why are you carrying $9 million?
It's $12 million.
You get Doug McBuckets.
It's $12 million.
Right. What? You could fucking have both.
Sam, you're not considering. I need you to consider something for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So the NBA obviously still has strained relations with China.
You can keep Doug McDermott Mandarin.
We're gonna say
I don't know if you heard. Speaks Mandarin.
Yeah. That's so funny. We don't talk about enough how they picked him over LaMelo Ball because he was really good at going to dinner.
I know, it's insane. I need to interrupt here. I invited Hugo from Warriors.
Hugo
Twitter.
Besson, Milwaukee Bucks draft pick?
Yes, Hugo Besson.
Did we antagonize Hugo into joining?
No. Hugo agrees with all of us on everything that we've said. Like the Steph Curry stuff. Like he's always said they were Steph merchants. He's always said like you got to sell off some things to compete now. The fact that they won is like not. It doesn't justify what the front office has done. It's absolutely like just the fact that Steph is still amazing. Like it was like the whole breakdown of like the finals was like, well, the Celtics don't have mental toughness, and then I'm like, the one team had Steph Curry and the other team didn't have Steph Curry.
I also just think that I also just think it's kind of hubris. I think like they're going back into this thinking this is another 3-year run of them like marching to the title, and like they're old.
Hello.
We got Hugo. We're talking Warriors. Are you familiar with this team?
Okay, but Sam, I know I hear you, but also you say the West is back. I still think the Warriors are still the best team in the West by far. Like the Mavs aren't real. The Mavs are also going to take like 10 steps back because when Luka's off the court, they will fall apart now because
who else is getting worse besides the Mavs?
While they were gone.
Who else is getting worse besides the Mavs, though?
I do think the Grizzlies are going to regress.
Obviously the Jazz.
Also, especially with no Jaren Jackson for 6 months.
The Jazz just got rid of their worst playoff player, though.
Hold on.
Watch out for the Jazz in the playoffs. Yeah. How funny would it be if Donovan Mitchell having averaging 60 points?
Unless the Suns trade 8 and 4 fucking Kevin Durant, they're going to be worse.
They might. How it seems right now is
exactly. Obviously, if they get fucking Durant, the Clippers aren't real. If the Clippers are real, obviously they're a threat. Yeah. The Nuggets, the Warriors are better than the Nuggets. They need full power Michael Porter Jr. to be better than the Warriors.
Sure.
Like who else is?
I think the Nuggets will be good.
Not going to be better than the Warriors.
I do think the Nuggets are going to be good too because I just think you surround Jokic with guys who can play defense, and like Jokic, other than I would say Steph is number one in terms of like being able to play with not like guys who don't have to space the floor like Gary Payton and Draymond and Looney and whatever. I would say Jokic is second in terms of like you can play multiple non-shooters with him and you can probably survive those minutes because of his just insane creation ability, and also the fact that like defensively, he does need a lot of help. And like the fact that KCP and Gary Payton Bruce Brown, the other Gary Payton, second, Bruce Brown are massive upgrades over what they had. And then Gordon's already a decent defender. And like, we'll see with Murray and Michael Porter Jr. But like, I do think that the Nuggets will be at least competitive in the West next year for sure.
I think they'll be a top 4 seed. I think the Grizzlies fall out.
Sure.
And I think that
Jokic
makes you want to stay out of the 4 seed
no matter what.
Yeah. I think you're going to want to stay out of the 4 seed. And I just worry. I think the Warriors have compromised their depth a little bit. And as someone who watched Jason Tatum grind himself into fucking dirt, and run out of steam in like the playoffs, I think that's important to like not be like having these punishing brutal series. Like I think it really cost the Celtics to have to go through the Heat and the Bucks.
It did for sure.
Yeah.
Especially for Horford, who's already old, and Robert Williams.
But I worry about that for the Warriors now. Like if they have like too hard like series, if they end up in a series like that, if they have to play the Nuggets round 2, that's fucking tough. Like
Yeah.
Before you end up like if that goes like 6 or 7 games, and then you've got to see like, and God forbid you end up with the Mavericks round 1, like if they're
Mavericks
bad
without Jalen Brunson are going to be so much worse. Are you kidding me?
I do.
They lost him for nothing.
They also got Christian Wood, who's the worst locker room guy in the NBA.
They got Christian Wood, who will probably make them worse.
Like talent-wise, he's very good offensively. Vibes-wise, he might be him and Kyrie are like the two
DeMarcus Cousins.
Oh,
I don't know. I've got a lot of respect for Luka, man. It's like the same thing with like Giannis and LeBron and Steph. Like you just you do not want to see that guy no matter what. Like
I think Luka is gonna he's gonna set usage records this year. Like he's gonna set so many shots.
It's gonna be like Russell Westbrook, the MVP season. It's just 50%.
They're replacing Jalen Brunson with like 79-year-old Goran Dragic. Are you kidding me? You think this team's gonna be good?
I do. He's very good. You root for Giannis. You know this.
Hold on. Everyone, hold on.
They need to buy his hair
in a vacuum. You are forgetting that they are coached by the fucking dumbass known as Jason fucking Kidd. The first year Kidd regression happens every fucking time.
That was not what I expected from you, to be honest. I thought this was going to blow up into a Chris Middleton all-star tirade, which I also support because the Mavs don't have anyone who even fucking sniffs Chris Middleton.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think
going back to the Warriors for a little bit, I think the Warriors are probably not going to be a top 3 seed in the West next year.
Who cares? They're going to win.
It doesn't matter.
Who cares?
Like,
they don't care.
They don't care. They're going to be playing a lot of their young guys. They're going to be resting like Steph and Draymond like every 4th game probably.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to be trying to the regular season. And I don't know. The depth does look a little strange right now.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Steph giving it one last run through to try to get another MVP. Or
if you were gonna bet, I might put odds on him or Luka next year. Like,
or has it been long enough for Giannis can finally fucking win the MVP he deserves again?
If Steph didn't get injured and he rested every 5th game.
Okay, no, hold on. We need to pause.
That he rested every 5th game.
Hold on. Someone in chat. Phil, throw the Slack chat on the screen. This is simply incorrect. No.
That's L ball. That's Landon. That's L ball. Yeah, no, he's mostly fucking with you, I think.
Yeah.
I will say White
Gary
Dante
Payton won the Warriors that series, by the way.
If White Dante's body can heal, he'll probably be a fine. Because when you go to the Warriors, because of Steph offensively and because of Draymond defensively, and White Dante's defense has always been decent enough that
I think his defense is better than his offense.
It is. It definitely is. But we were saying a lot of his advanced stats were inflated because of the fact that he was always the 4th or 5th best defender on the floor for the Bucks in those years.
Yeah,
which makes sense. But he'll
what I heard, his job for the Bucks was pretty easy, which is just go over the screen and just stay with your guy, and then don't worry about the guy getting into the paint because.
Hold on, let me get my dissertation out.
Yeah. But Hugo, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Can we do a power rankings of the young Warriors prospects? Because you watch every game, and I have a perspective, and other people have a perspective of certain Warriors prospects.
Right.
So let's go. Let's rank the 4 prospects. Well, Wiseman doesn't even really count because we all know Wiseman.
Okay. No. Well, I guess let's start with Moody. He's probably the most NBA. He's the most NBA ready, and he's one that I feel pretty confident is going to be a solid rotation player this year. He's very smart, very good decision maker on the court. Right. He's a great shooter. He led the G League in scoring this year, which is
I know.
Cool, as a 19-year-old. He's really long, 7-foot wingspan, and he's not an explosive athlete, but he actually has some pick and roll chops where he can use a screener, shoot off the bounce, or get to the rim.
His range is also ridiculous.
Yeah, he's gonna be good this year, but he's still only 20. So I don't know if it is very risky to bet on a 20-year-old.
I didn't know that. That intrigues me. 7-foot wingspans. How much of a plus is that? Man. Is he 6'6" or something?
He's 6'6", and he's quite muscular. Both him and Kuminga are very well built.
Kuminga's
a wild card. Moving on to Kuminga, I'm just a little bit less sure that he's gonna be that usable this year in like high leverage situations. He was
Nose
really
ball.
bad in the Grizzlies series. Like I think Mike Brown started Kuminga like every game except for the last one, and they were really negative to start the game in all of those games. Whereas Moody played a lot in the Mavs series, and he was basically like an average player, which is, I think, it's a little bit of a different situation, but I think it shows that Moody's probably more ready to contribute now.
I think
Kuminga
fits on the team a lot, but it's not to say that Kuminga isn't going to be good, because I do think Kuminga is going to be good. I just think
Kuminga also has a harder role too, because he is a big.
Exactly.
Bigs on the Warriors have very difficult reads on offense. They also have to be able to pass and screen and all these kind of little things that Wiseman struggled with in his first year. So yeah, Kuminga is going to be useful in the regular season. We'll see whether he's useful in the postseason. Maybe not. But hopefully I would expect that he would be like a ninth man in the postseason. That's probably where I would expect.
Right. So
whereas
you have White Dante is. So where will White Dante fall in the Michael Jordan of Delaware? Where will he fall in the rotation? I guess
out of it.
Well, I mean, he has to be healthy, but I'm sure he'll get minutes at the guard spots.
Will he start?
He won't. I mean, no, he won't start. Even Poole's not even starting.
Yeah, true.
I always forget about Poole a little bit.
Oh no! Pull up the Andrew Quinlan one. I'm going to commit parody if this happens. Oh
no! Woj said that the Raptors are trying to go to for KD. Well, hold on. That might mean that we see several Raptors fans who will go unnamed commit some violent acts on the timeline if Scotty Barnes is traded.
Yeah. Well, he's better than KD.
Are going to be really weird.
True. I mean, he's basically Giannis but better. So
yeah,
I
was told by Zach Lowe that the Raptors would hang up the phone. So I mean, you'd think these negotiations would go pretty quick. Yeah. That was such dog. He is so clearly a Heat and Raptors plant. Like every time he talks about those two teams, it's fucking insane. Like
it's funny because the Heat and Raptors are talked about as if they have the same success as the Warriors, the Showtime Lakers, the 96 Bulls. Like it's all like in the same thing, but it's like they've won like what? In the last decade, they've won a combined 3 titles.
If the Heat don't get KD, they're fucked. Like they can't do anything. Like
they're fucked regardless.
Yeah. I mean, I think if they got KD,
even if
you get KD, you're unfucked.
Kevin Durant, they'd probably be fine.
But okay.
Like KD only wants to go to the Heat if he can play with Lowry.
I like Lowry's inclusion with Bam and Jimmy. Like Lowry is just as good.
The package.
KD is a Raptors.
Lowry's like just as good as like Tobias Harris right now. Like I watched the playoffs. Like, 36.
Have we considered that KD might be a Raptors fan? Always online. Very petty, overrating Kyle Lowry for no reason.
Kevin Durant constantly talks about the Raptors fans cheering after he tore his Achilles. You think he's gonna fucking want to go play there? Are you kidding me?
I don't think
anybody will care about that except for us. But it's gonna be really, really strange.
Kevin Durant cares. He talks about it all the time.
He's a petty guy. I will say that Kevin Durant is like a top 5 petty NBA.
He literally is forcing a trade because the Warriors won the title, and like. I'll put it like this. Hold on. I'll put it like this.
Yeah.
Is there any team in the NBA that is better than the Nets as they can like maneuver this offseason if they trade for Kevin Durant and they give up everything that they have to trade for Kevin Durant? Because I would say the answer is no. There isn't a single team in the NBA that could be better than the Nets with Kyrie, KD. Yeah, like look, I know we've said everything about Ben, but like if Ben is just like the fourth guy, the third guy, whatever, Royce O'Neal, Joe Harris, Seth Curry, like there is not a situation that he's going to go to where that team is going to be better than the Nets are.
Hold on. I have to do this a copium on my table. Okay, Ben Simmons can finally put it together this year. I'm telling you. This is
I'm
the
not
year.
saying that Ben needs to put it together. What I'm saying is, can Ben be literally tall Bruce Brown?
Yeah.
No. After we saw Bruce Brown do last year, no, we can't.
I mean, okay. While I do love shitting on Ben Simmons, I will say like Joe Harris was like hurt last year. Like
yeah.
You know, that was like really was like a fucking season from hell. Like if all this hadn't happened, I would totally be with you that they should like just run it back. I think there are certain situations. I think the Raptors probably are one of the rare teams where if that team probably is better than what they have right now if they trade Scotty Barnes and I don't know what Gary Trent Jr. and $1 billion picks or something. Like if they can somehow hold on to OG and Pascal with KD, that's a pretty fucking
Fleet.
Yeah.
Okay, that might be the one situation.
I've talked about this 70 times. What I need to happen, because it'd be the funniest situation in NBA history, if the Nets go, if you want fucking Kevin Durant, you have to take Kyrie too, and you figure it out. It's not our problem anymore. And then Kyrie Irving literally cannot enter the country, can only play away games, cannot practice with the team. He's stuck in America. Just has to fly around and meet them at every other random game. That'd be amazing.
Good vibe.
He's got to like zoom into his introductory press conference. That would be fucking amazing.
This Gobert trade was really bad for any team that wants to trade for KD because now the market is set as like.
Yeah.
Well, okay, how fucking pissed you have to be if you're the Hawks and you just gave up all this shit for DeJounte Murray and you probably could have traded that and at least gotten the conversation for Kevin Durant.
Especially if you fucking trade like Kevin Huerter, like you trade all your bullshit, like, you know, like John Collins, like, you know, like you could trade. You have all this stupid bullshit. You probably could have traded.
John Collins' trade value must be dog shit.
Well, yeah, because he is dog shit. Everyone knows it.
He's overrated as shit. Yeah, I agree. I do agree.
He's like a little overrated, but I mean, he's Kelly Olynyk, you know. Like,
okay, I said this, and I can't remember. Oh, this was before they traded for Kevin Huerter, but I said if you were to trade, like every Kings fan that I see on Twitter is like, we can't trade for Tobias Harris. That's the 8th seed move. That's whatever. And I'm like, if you were to trade Tobias Harris to the Kings, he would be just as effective as John Collins because John Collins is a fucking elite playmaker.
And Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray and
sure. Well, yeah, just have all the variants.
Avatar state. It's the Avatar meme where Aang's looking down and it's Keegan Murray and it's Tobias Harris.
Sure, there you go. Fine. What I'm saying is that like at least Tobias Harris can create his own shot. John Collins literally needs Trae Young, James Harden, Luka Doncic. Like he needs like a high level playmaker to even be able to create a shot.
Yeah,
he can't create shots.
Well, and by the way, you'd also get something for trading for Tobias Harris. Like you wouldn't have to send anything out. You'd probably get a sweetener of some kind. Like
and you'd have to give up a bunch to get John Collins, which is why they haven't traded him. Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's why we were able to get like Malcolm Brogdon. It is like very interesting. I mean, I know
Let's talk about the Malcolm Brogdon thing. We haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Kevin. We haven't really talked about the Kevin Huerter trade either.
We'll talk about Huerter.
It didn't work.
Less important. But let's talk about the Malcolm Brogdon thing because
it's Malcolm really bad for the Eastern Conference. It's a really good trade.
Not good.
Right.
It's not.
It validates the entire existence of the trade machine. Just throw 6 players in the trade, click trade, and it worked.
Yeah. When have you ever seen like a 5-for-1 trade?
6 for 1. This was a fucking 6 for 1.
Keith Smith on Twitter was like, "Well, this is why you sign guys to 2nd-year veteran minimum contracts because then you can flip them. You can pay them the least amount of money and flip them." And I'm like,
it's so funny.
Never happens except for the Christian Wood trade last week.
Yeah, I'm like really owned right now because I kept saying like they have to use the MLE. They're not going to like trade for like they can't compound any money because like people don't understand, like, after the Derek White trade, we literally had 5 open roster spots in the middle. We just fucking signed 5 guys. Like, our two-way guy, Sam Hauser.
Luke Cornett spot that apparently anytime the Celtics generate roster spots, they're like, hey, Luke Cornett,
he comes back, No,
you're white. Come on down.
Corn Dog's, like, okay, by the way. Like, for that guy, he's, like, okay. But, like, you know, like, I would love to, like, you know, I was thinking like, oh, like we'll get like a Martin twin, we'll get like something else, like there, and
Yeah,
we'll be
what
like,
are the
okay.
still on the
Martin, by the
twins?
way, which is wild.
Yeah.
Have we heard anything about the
No,
Martin
they're both
twins?
unsigned and no.
They're good. Or one of them is.
Fine. They're fine.
One of the Heat
Rotation
are good.
bench
They're
wings.
both
Yeah,
good. I'd take both of them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the Warriors should exploit the Heat, like the Heat's
Speaking of
offense
the Warriors,
being
why
basically
did they
the worst
fucking
version
sign
of
a
the
Martin
Warriors
twin instead of
offense.
signing Dante? What the fuck?
Yeah. I was hoping we would sign a Martin twin over Daniel House, but apparently that did not happen. So
No, that's Maury's nepotism.
He only loves his sons that he has.
I'm sure those guys will end up on the Suns when the KD trade happens. They have like 8 fucking roster spots.
Yeah, I'm sure. But back to
Okay.
the Malcolm Brogdon trade, which, by the way,
we haven't talked about the Jazz wanting. I mean, it's part of the 5-team trade. The Jazz don't want any of the shit they just got. So Jared Vanderbilt's going to go to a contender, and everyone's going to be like, "God damn it!"
really?
Well, this is what I was saying. Kind of sneaky. What if they traded all that bullshit they just got from the Wolves to the
Patrick Beverly?
Yeah, all that shit to the Lakers for Russ. Like, why
And
the
then
fuck
get 2
not?
picks and Taylor Horton
Yeah,
Tucker.
or like one
And then
pick and Taylor Hart, whatever.
Because, well,
Imagine
Yeah,
watching
the
Russ
vacuum
and
stand,
Donovan
but
Mitchell on
everyone
the same
knows
team.
the
Yeah.
Lakers are just sitting on their fucking laurels like you're going to trade us Kyrie Irving and are literally just calling Sean Marks every 10 minutes and he's like having nightmares about it every time his phone rings.
That's literally what Daryl Morey's strategy was with James Harden at the deadline, by the way. He was literally like, I'm going to be Jack Nicholson in The Shining in your fucking dreams or there won't be a trade. Either or, but I'm going to push it to the limit. He was literally, by the way, him and Sean Marks are apparently good friends, which makes me think less of Sean Marks. But like
Who? Sean Marks?
Daryl Morey and Sean Marks are apparently good friends.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Because the only reason I know this is because after the Harden trade, he apparently yelled, "Sean, don't hang up the fucking phone," when they were trying to finalize the details and send it to the league office because he wanted to hang up the phone. And then he was like, "Really, Daryl? Like, we're friends." And then every journalist was like, "They're actually really good friends." And then I was
Well,
like,
that's because also that's hilarious. It's hilarious that Daryl Morey is yelling, "Don't hang up the fucking phone," because he does this exact. I've heard stories of him doing this exact thing to multiple teams in the league that they were just like, "All right, fuck you, we're not doing this at all now."
of course he's a sociopath.
Yeah, they'd be like, he'd be like, trade agreed to a certain Pacers point guard that doesn't play for them, that doesn't play for the Kings anymore. A trade would be agreed to, and they're like, all right, we're gonna hang up and call the league, and then Daryl Morey would call them back like, we needed another 2 first-round picks.
Right. It was the Halliburton trade. Yeah,
like, fuck you.
The agreed to terms was Halliburton.
I don't remember anymore, and I'm gonna get yelled at for even bringing it up, so I don't care.
I'm pretty sure it was, wasn't it? Didn't we get Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Barnes for Ben, Tobias, and Thibault? Or something like that.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Which would have made us much better.
Hypothetical, yeah. Would you rather have that than Harden?
No.
Yes.
No?
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't
No
because
Tobias, no Thibault? Does nothing for you?
I mean, I personally would. Okay, so I trade Tobias Harris for Tobias Harris, who makes less money. I trade.
Wait, who do you think that is?
Better than Tobias.
I don't think Buddy Hield can play in the playoffs either, and neither can Thibault. He's just offensive Thibault. And then, okay, Halliburton versus Harden. Sure, maybe there's an argument there, but I still think in the next 2 years that Harden will probably be the better player. Like, I don't know. Like, if he isn't completely physically cooked, then the idea behind like that isn't the worst. Like, I think Halliburton will obviously be the better player in like 3 or 4 years, but like the idea behind trading for Hallie to me was always like, if we wanted to try to like have another trade where like if Kevin Durant became available, like that's, I'm not even joking. Like,
imagine if
I would flip him because.
Yeah, okay, just take a step back, and we'll continue in this fake NBA bubble, because obviously James Harden would still be on the Nets right now, so this is not even relevant. But imagine you had Halliburton and Maxey, and you go, you can have both of them if you give us Kevin Durant. Like, that's immediately the best package.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That's what I'm saying. Is like
the Sixers would probably go, no, you can have one of them. Like, even though you tap the sign, it's Kevin Durant.
Then again,
that'd be the whole debate of which one you give up.
What would be the rest of the team? Would be the question.
Really. Who cares? You haven't beaten Durant.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's what Morty would say. He would be like, "Hey, you'll figure out the rest."
Anyway,
back to the Malcolm Brogdon thing.
Okay,
yeah, shout out to
you guys
Celtics
gonna
Matt,
just take
who
Patrick
was
Beverly? By the way, you guys are getting Patrick Beverly right on a buyout or something.
The Warriors.
What?
No, sorry, I'm not announcing news. I'm saying the Sixers are going to end up with Patrick Beverly as they assemble the 18 Rockets.
Yeah.
I immediately went to my phone because I thought we were getting Patrick Beverly, and I was like, "That's a little over the top. We don't really need him."
Yeah.
I don't think
Our Bucks DM is talking about Patrick, like trading for Patrick Beverly, and it'd just be hilarious if our guard lineup is Drew Holiday, Javon Carter, and Patrick Beverly, just 3 complete on-ball assholes at all times.
Yeah.
I also think Patrick Beverly would help a contender.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be in. He's never going to play for fucking Utah. Are you kidding me?
No.
I was joking before the White Dante signing that it would be really funny if Pat Bev got a buyout and went to the Warriors.
Yeah.
It's even funnier if Pat Bev got a buyout and went to the Suns.
It would be even funnier if Pat Bev got a buyout and went to ESPN and just started living in the studio again. Oh man. But anyway, yeah, shout out to Celtics Matt, our friend who died earlier today when he saw the terms of the Malcolm Brogdon deal and tragically took his own life because apparently it's the worst thing in the world to get Malcolm Brogdon for 2 guys who are fucking out of your rotation and what will probably be somewhere between the 25th and the 29th pick. And then
dude, that Daniel Tice contract was so bad. I had no idea. Like the Celtics really screwed up when they traded for him, and then they got off it.
And then got it again, and then got off of it again.
Well, it was de-escalated because we did get Enes Kanter Freedom. Sorry, I didn't mean to dead name him. We got Enes Freedom off the team, who was just leaking shit to Woj, like just kept telling Woj, like, yeah, we keep fighting in the locker room, which is like where all the those early reports were coming from, because he was just like a Republican mole at that point. So, I we got rid of like Schroeder. Like that's like really what made us good, less than the Derek White thing.
That's another guy that how is he still unsigned at this point?
Because he's a locker room cancer.
I know, but you think
he's just like
even the Warriors again, still better than fucking Dante.
But that's the thing is like he takes so much off the table. He's like a bad team good player. Like I don't know what happened that Thunder year. Probably just a thing about how good Chris Paul is. That
and
Thunder
also good
year,
shooting, just a shooting variance here.
Yeah, exactly.
He's never been a good 3-point shooter, even though he's a really good free throw shooter, which is weird. Like he shoots 87% from the line, and then he shoots like 30% from 3.
Okay, this is just. I don't think there's anything you can do about this. But do you think the league and the PA have to have a meeting about just artificially inflating the salary cap because none of these guys are getting money because there's no salary cap or no space in the league?
For
anybody, all these dudes are gonna have to take minimums because there's no fucking space for any of these guys. Like the Martin twins should be getting $6 million and have to take fucking minimums.
Well, I think the solution here is expansion. I think we're just there where there's finally enough talent in the NBA where we're starting to get to a point where there are enough guys. It's shit.
I think a lot of teams have also realized that being over the cap is better because you have more players. You have more players or more good players,
more tradable salaries too. Yeah.
Then you can just use those salaries to trade. You still have your MLEs, and that's usually good enough. But that means that a lot of the new free agents are basically they don't get enough money unless they have bird rights.
Yeah, right. If your old team doesn't want you back, you're fucked because you can't go anywhere.
Which is why there have been a lot of sign and trades lately.
Colin Sexton is going back to the Cavs, Teddy.
Oh yeah, Colin Sexton will definitely go back to the Cavs.
No, Darius Garland has made it known that it's you are going to re-sign Rubio and fucking Colin Sexton.
Boys. Yeah. Okay, so I just want to say before we bring Matt on, Matt, before you talk, I just want to say, so the Celtics, I've been trying to figure this out. The Celtics' 8th man is Grant Williams, right? So the top 8 of the Celtics are
intact, and they add Malcolm Brogdon.
Okay. When Malcolm Brogdon plays, after he takes
The 80 again, the 39 games that Malcolm Brogdon plays for the Celtics, they're gonna look fucking unbeatable.
Sure.
We already have Rob Williams. You can't hurt us with this line of attack. Yeah.
So we have
Marcus Smart. I am just trying to prep you for the Malcolm Brogdon experience where everyone's like, oh, this dude's like, he is so much better on paper than Malcolm Brogdon because he is such a fucking idiotic player despite him having the appearance of being a smart player. He gets fucking tunnel vision like no player you've ever seen before. There would be watching him on the Bucks was infuriating because he would try to because again, Malcolm Brogdon is one of the slowest releases in the NBA. Like obviously when he has time, he's obviously one of the best shooters in the NBA, but also he can't create for himself. So he just has this super low fucking Zootopia ass release. He would try to shoot shots instead of passing to fucking Giannis, who had I remember specifically it was against the Bulls. He was trying to shoot over I forget who the fuck else. Well, Giannis was matched on fucking Jabari Parker. It was just pass to Giannis. What the fuck?
Can I repudiate this?
Yeah,
I was going to be the sixth man on the Celtics, by the way.
So my thing is that we just didn't have that. He's replacing Aaron Nesmith, so he would need to be better than Aaron Nesmith, which is
again, you're just adding him. It's
I
understand
in the NBA.
He's better than nothing again, but I'm just prepping you that you're gonna think he's better than he is, and he's gonna be.
I'm not counting on him for anything. The other huge upside to this
2014
trade,
Rookie of the Year.
2016 Rookie of the Year over Joel Embiid.
Who did he beat? Was it Ben Simmons?
Embiid only played 27 games.
Oh my god!
No, what a loser!
No, wasn't there someone else who was good that year?
Dario Saric.
I think he averaged
again. I need to prep
Saric
you.
Played well the second half of that year.
Malcolm Brogdon is turning 30 this year.
Malcolm Brogdon, by the way, is as old as Chris Middleton, despite only being in the league. Because anyway, he's old as shit. He was a 24-year-old rookie. And by the way, he left the Bucks.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be 30, right?
He asked to leave the Bucks.
No way.
Because he did not. Oh, we have a bot in chat. Naked HD. Fuck
Naked
Tinder,
HD.
and faster.
Let's go.
No, first.
Hey,
Squirt, crazy face.
Wait, hot singles in my area. Okay,
Trill, you made it.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, so he left asked to leave the Bucks because he wanted to be the fucking he wanted to be a lead guard on a team and was unhappy being the fourth best player on on the Bucks, who were obviously a championship contender because it was 2018 when he left. And it's just he is such a fucking loser brain dipshit that he's changed and he's gonna understand. He'll finally conform.
He's in his 30s now, dude. He's settled down. He got past his angst of his 20s.
No, he had this whole fucking think piece he wrote about after the Bucks won the title, and it was just like, dude, shut the fuck up. You chose to leave.
Okay, here's what I would say. Have you ever heard of a man in his 30s still being really attuned to what's online and what people are saying? A person like that should be shot in the head. It should not be allowed to be anywhere.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine being in your 30s and caring what people say on social networks.
On social networks, it'd be crazy. But anyway, here's the other thing I like about the deal is they actually added money too. They scaled up. They traded 13 million. Whatever, with all the minimums all added together, it was a plus $5 million deal. So now they can trade if Brogdon sucks and you need to trade him next year, you can trade him and a bunch of minimum guys again.
Deal. Oh my
God. Is he making 25?
He has 3 more years on that deal. Oh my lord.
Yeah. The Celtics love that though. Everyone but Jaylen Brown and Al Horford is under contract for fucking ever, which too. So I'm guessing
White's on a long deal.
Yeah,
he signed a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
So he's got 3 years left.
Yeah. I'm gonna head out, guys. Nice talking to you guys.
Right.
There you
go. So this is my thing. You've got Gallinari, you've got Brogdon. Even if Brogdon doesn't work out, you still have enough picks that you could flip him again for someone
it's
whoever the
PPE scheme, but with a player.
Exactly. Or unload him later for the other thing. If I'm guessing when Al Horford he comes off the books next year, I'm assuming the Celtics will bring him back one more time, but on a way cheaper, $15 million or whatever the fuck that is. So then you put him and Brogdon together and you can get fucking Bradley Beal for all the picks or something.
Okay, hold on. We trade Malcolm Brogdon we do a trade where we trade Malcolm Brogdon for a guy who fits the TPE, and therefore you fill the one TPE and generate a Malcolm Brogdon TPE.
Yes.
And then
Now you're talking. Now you're talking my language. Yeah.
Now he's like literally John Nash in Beautiful Mind, but for TPEs.
I wanted to do that last year.
By the way, this is a wild. When Rudy Gobert, this actually does make sense because it was 9 years ago. But Rudy Gobert after Minnesota, the only player from the 2013 draft on their team is Giannis.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's not surprising. I mean, 2013 draft sucked ass.
Yeah, who was was that? The Anthony
Yeah,
Bennett, Victor Oladipo.
Yeah, it was Oladipo, Nerlens Noel, Giannis Gobert, Giannis Gobert, McCollum, Adam, or Steven Adams. That's about it.
That was
players.
That was Bill Simmons' masterclass draft.
Yes, I need that. I need to find someone has the entire recording. I need to watch it.
Yes,
it's crazy that
more naked Tinderbots. Let's go.
What were we saying, Matt?
It's crazy that he nailed the draft that had like 4 good players.
I know. He was like, what if he was like Victor Oladipo, CJ McCollum, Giannis, and Gobert? He was literally like, these are all good, except he didn't really know who Gobert was. But
he heard about Gobert's dimensions.
He's like, he's a 9-foot standing reach.
I'm just going to
But those were like his guys. And also another person he really liked was Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. It was like, if you watch it, also he was like, Otto Porter Jr. is fine. Like he was like, he basically nailed that. The guys that he hated were Michael Carter-Williams and Shabazz Muhammad. He was like, yeah, these guys are going to suck at the next level.
Sam,
and I was like, damn, you're right.
Do you remember when the Bucks were trying to trot out Shabazz Muhammad against you in that 2017-18 playoff series?
Who picked him? The Wolves? Wasn't he a Wolves guy?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, but he made his way over there. Man, that series, I feel like Thon Maker was prominently involved in that series.
No, that was the Thon Maker debut series. We were like, holy shit, it's actually real. The Thon Maker experience is real.
Yeah.
Game 3,
that like ruined my perception of Thon Maker for like 2 years. I thought he was
ruined everyone. The Bucks fans were like, he just got to do this again. He can do it. He's there. It's there.
Yeah.
In game 3 against the Celtics, he hit 3 threes and had 5 or 6 blocks, and it was like, we did it. We did it again.
Yeah. It was like,
wasn't that the series where Chris Middleton hit the half court shot to send?
Yeah, game 1, it was Brogdon hit a 3-pointer with like 3 seconds left.
I thought Brogdon sucked, dude.
He does.
Yeah, Brogdon fucking cooked us back in the day, though. Like he got to the rim fucking at will against those old Celtics teams.
That's my whole thing.
Both of his legs were amputated, and he lost one of his hands. But
NB is a fucking Brogdon hater from day one. But dude, I'm telling you,
I've also been artificially conditioned because Bucks fans are like, we need to move Chris Middleton and keep Brogdon, and I'm like, you people are fucking morons.
Yeah, I mean, that's good.
That's stupid. But at the same time, their 6th man is a sub all-star.
Ooh, free agent center Jalen Smith, 2-year deal back to the Pacers.
I was like, okay, that's pretty much where he had to go. But because otherwise he couldn't get paid anywhere unless he did a sign and trade, because like they can only offer him like $7 million. But like, because I was like, if Jalen Smith's gonna be forced to take a minimum, like every team in the league should get him because he's decent. Like,
can we talk about my pet thing? Because this is what I want for the Celtics. It won't fucking happen because they will have a $210 million tax bill. But I still want them to use the TPE to get Kelly Olynyk, because I don't know what the fuck Kelly Olynyk is gonna do on the Pistons next year. They re-signed Marvin Bagley. They Jalen Duren. They have Isaiah Stewart. And they traded for Nerlens Noel, who apparently they like and like actually want to play. So what the fuck are they going to do with Kelly Olynyk, who's their 2nd highest like player? So
I see this thing that says that Brogdon averaged 16 drives not too long ago. He averaged 20 drives a game this year when he played. So like the thing about Brogdon's fit on the Celtics is like he's going to shoot, he's going to drive. He's going to handle the ball decently. He's not like a brilliant kind of like orchestrator of the offense.
Yeah, but he can dribble.
But he's a fine complimentary guy. Like can I
tell you something I'm worried about though? What I am worried about is the shooting. I just think he shot like 33% in Indiana.
It turns out when you go away from playing with Giannis and the 4th option off Chris Middleton, and
you say this, but then he was a really good shooter for the first 2 years with the Pacers. So this doesn't make any sense.
I just
he became
think
one of the best pull-up shooters in the NBA.
I'm nervous about this because I was someone who was down on the Derek White trade because he couldn't shoot. And then like I felt a lot better about it after I saw the first game because I was like, oh, okay, like he can connect.
He's really
like
good.
I was worried about fit. Like so I felt better about it, but he still couldn't shoot. Everyone told me no, he'll be fine. Like once he gets in the system, like we still kind of need guys who can shoot. Ideally guys who can shoot and play defense, which is why Gallinari is not super much like not a great answer for us.
Because you can't play Pritchard like serious minutes, like ever.
Yeah, like he competes, but he just like is not. Mm-hmm. You're gonna lose those minutes, like if you like put Pritchard out there. So like that's like my one thing is like the Celtics still don't really have an answer like for shooting wise, like. Which is why everyone wanted to fucking trade Grant Williams, and I felt like I was going fucking insane. Like, you need good shooters against the Bucks.
You
like
need
the primary
players
problem for the Celtics.
You just don't have a lot of like spot up shooters, like guys that like I don't know.
Just
I feel
chop.
like
Jake Fisher, go to jail. Jake Fisher, go to jail.
What do you do?
He just started tweeting like blah blah blah. Kevin Durant's offer the Raptors to Kevin Durant, and then it was a link to his podcast he did yesterday. Go fuck yourself.
Oh God,
that guy's down so bad.
He's going to prison.
He got skewered this free agency.
I have information that will lead to the arrest of Bleacher Report's Jake Fisher.
Wait, do you guys? I mean, go for it.
Yeah, if I am contacted by the FBI, I will tell you about some of the crimes that this man has done. I feel so betrayed because I felt like, oh, is this like a new like guy like on the scene with like Shams and Woj? And he's like, absolutely fucking not. He's like Rick Bucher.
Well, do you guys remember when KOC like tried to dip his toes into like the slop?
Yeah,
he still does.
Like,
he's never been correct once.
Yeah.
He tried to get scoops for like, and he was hard. Like he like got like one or two, but like generally he was like completely off, and then just like stopped getting scoops.
Yeah. He was that gif of the guy where he's trying to wash his car and he's fallen over himself on his car,
tripping. Yeah.
Wait, did you guys watch the did you guys watch or listen to the mismatch? The most recent one?
No, I'm like behind.
Dude,
I'm off the mismatch right now.
He suggested and Vernon destroyed him. Like destroyed him. He suggested Hart, Bledsoe, and picks for Durant.
Let's go. Absolutely fucking awesome. Even if they're like yeah.
Sorry, I have slop. Apparently,
I thought you saw Ramadan is easy KOC Kevin O'Faster in the chat and enjoyed that because I did too. Shout out Willie Farrell. Yeah.
Apparently.
What's up?
The point guard of the Lakers may be moved imminently.
Mr. Westbrook?
Correct. No way.
I'm working on. I always get it in pieces, and it pisses me off every time. But
it's like a Shams tweet. I gotta get it out there.
You know who they're trying to get, but apparently they have a backup if it's not going to be Kyrie.
Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is a Laker, folks.
Russell Westbrook was a Rocket. Let's think about it.
But they don't have any.
What could they even say? I have like no memory of who's on the Rock. Like what Jayshawn Tate and fucking.
That's right.
Yeah, Verno on on this podcast would be incredible. That's what I was trying to say. It's like the mismatch is incredible. Is an incredible listen, even if neither of them know ball.
Dude, he just absolutely like when he did the Bledsoe Hart picks thing. Like Vernon spent the next 3 minutes just like. He was like, just completely skewering him.
You want to trade?
And he got bullied so hard that he was like, but they could also include Shade and Sharp. And then he just continued to skewer him.
You telling me, Kevin, you think they can trade?
That is ridiculous.
Bigger trade.
Trade?
No, not happening. Not happening at Slop. Sorry.
Oh, God.
Okay. Okay.
We need different sounds from you when there's like.
On that.
Okay. Oink 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 oink.
Yeah, the oink.
Okay.
On that same podcast,
it
was like they were talking about how like the Lakers are signing all the
between
people.
The Brooklyn Nets, the Utah Jazz, and the Los Angeles Lakers.
So it's what I was saying. The Jazz would send some of their stupid bullshit for
no, it's not their stupid bullshit. It's their prime asset and lots of shit going. It's developing. I'm not gonna, but apparently Mitchell for Kyrie, and then everything else gets set. Yeah, again, it's fucking insane. It's gonna be like a 6
Mitchell and
trade.
Simmons on the same team,
like a 5 or 6 team trade. I'm not kidding you. It's happening.
We need to preface this by saying half of the things that NB says don't come true. So let's couch that by saying let's couch that by saying
the 5-team trade thing. As I have now heard it from 2 separate, completely independent people.
So you mean to tell me that Donovan Mitchell is going to be sent to the Brooklyn Nets? Kevin, he's going out there.
AKA Kevin Obama, AKA Kevin O'Connor, AKA Kevin O'Connor, Kevin O'Climber.
Kevin O'Communism, Kevin O'Concentration.
Kevin O'Candyland. Come on.
Kevin, I want to
tell you. And then he tries to do like a raspy voice. He's like, Verno.
Verno, I'm jacked and pumped. Verno, I wanted to ask
you. I was just playing Pink Floyd on the guitar.
My favorite KOC thing that he does is where he's like
working on trading other shit for draft assets to make the Jazz happy with not getting either Kyrie or Mitchell, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure that will happen. Huge part of this.
Yeah,
dude, there was a Jazz Spaces earlier where they were like,
but
I think we could be like at best the 4 seed this year. I'm like, what world?
Okay, the 27 and 29 Lakers first are a good start, I would think. Those are prime fucking picks.
I mean, yeah. But here's the thing. So what Will says in chat is important though, because like Mitchell is the same thing as Bam, where he can't go to the fucking Nets the same way like when Ben Simmons is still on there, right?
Right.
Yeah. No, you're right about that, Will. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but back to the mismatch, which is the most important thing to talk about right now.
Yeah.
My favorite thing that Kevin O'Connor does is where he goes, like if Russell Westbrook could just like buy into like shooting 3-pointers and like also let's talk about like setting
Trae Young with Steph Curry. Like,
he's like, listen, if
when he just like makes like the most like impossible things like theoretically happening.
If Ben Simmons was literally Giannis, he would be the best player in the league. And then it's like, damn, that's a good point, KOC.
Yeah. Really good.
Very good point. If he bought into the things that he'll refuse to never do, I agree.
and Trill, let's pull up what Ghost Like Mike wrote here, because I think that's an important piece I didn't think about.
Let's see. Ghost Like Mike.
Ben going to the Jazz might make that makes more sense, right?
Yeah, just like a straight, like just add him into that.
Yeah. I mean, Danny Ainge loves Ben. He tried to get him when he was in the 2016
Wait,
draft.
so Mitchell would be going.
Ben in Utah is fucking amazing, by the way.
Hilarious concept.
He just deserves the worst.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, but anyways, so just really quickly back to the mismatch. They were talking about all the clutch clients that signed to the Lakers. And so Vernon does a joke and he's like, oh, actually, I just saw in my timeline, singer Adele, like talking about Adele, like the pop star. Like signed it, and then KOC goes, singer Adele. What country's that guy from?
Amazing. Amazing.
And he did.
I love
like,
KOC.
Wasn't doing a joke. He was being dead serious.
Also, why did Verno think that he had to preface Adele's name with singer?
I think he was saying like pop star, like Adele or whatever like that.
Singer Adele.
But then KOC had to explain.
I don't have Adele.
KOC is amazing. My favorite KOC quirk, and I fucking adore this about him, is that he's the most fucking positive person in the entire world about all of these players. They're coming out of the draft. He's like, and like these guys, he's gonna be great. Like he sees like the most perfect versions of all these guys.
Always.
And then when he turns on someone, like Ben Simmons, he's like, Ben Simmons is a dog who thirsts for the Danube. I will kill that man. like he is so hard out on everyone. Like, what did he say? Who did he say like stinks the other day? Was it like, it wasn't Killian Hayes, because that was like a guy that.
Wow, what a take! Killian Hayes stinks.
Yeah, but that was like his guy, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was his guy.
We had him too in the draft.
To be fair, every guy he loves in the draft, Verno's like, that guy stinks. And
the only thing he's ever gotten
thinks,
right was Ingram over Simmons, and it's because Simmons has a personality disorder.
Yeah, that's the only reason why.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Ben has like he has like a disease that only like millennial New York writers who write about like fucking going to
he's the male version of Lena Dunham's character in Girls.
No, he really fucking is though. Like he should be a blue check mark like writer for like the I don't know fucking I can't even like the Atlantic or something.
Yeah, I was
like
gonna
that.
say the Atlantic would be.
He should be doing TV recaps. Let me put it that way. Like Ben Simmons' perfect thing is to like be doing TV recaps of like I don't know, like
Welcome back to the rewatchables. We just finished up watching season 2 of Chopped.
Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is like depressed because he missed out on competitive like he was like too old to get into competitive Fortnite, and it's affected his NBA career.
He's like, fuck, I can't believe all the the $200 million I've made from basketball have distracted me from my digital gaming career. I could have signed with whatever outlet he signed with without what?
Oh, I just had an idea of an episode of Undercover Boss where it's Ben Simmons like trying to pretend to be like an athletic trainer, and all the guys just look at 6'10" Ben Simmons like, you're fucking Ben Simmons.
Amazing. What I would love. I thought you were gonna say an episode of Undercover Boss where it's Bill Simmons going around the ring, but he's like trying to like dig up like the union.
Hey guys.
Yeah, and he's like. It's just like they tried to do that concept, and he just like found out that like Haley was unionizing and
contract negotiations suck, right, guys?
Yeah, he just found out everybody who left who were like clearly the union people who he like clearly fired, and they like didn't say anything about it, just like left.
Hey guys, anyone want to start NBA computer screen?
Yeah.
Wait, is Michael Bauman still on? Is he still work at the Ringer?
He just yell. Is that like his like? He just is like the only one left from the original union that's there.
Yeah, like I was curious because he was like like the most vocal on Twitter about.
He should be. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. What I'm saying is that like everyone else was just like, this is never gonna work, and they left,
and he's just like continuing to like.
And he's just like, we're powering through, and I respect it.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
you imagine trying to unionize KOC, like how fucking like hard that would be.
Unionizing the guy who loves
the guy that loves Elon Musk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's just so funny.
Like,
the guy that thinks like
the guy who gets like the Bitcoin thing. Like,
he's like, actually, sorry, I like a guy who's really innovative and explodes cars on the California freeway.
Innovation. Yeah. Oh god. Anyway,
God, he sucks. Dude.
No, he's amazing. No. KOC, and anyway, long story short, KOC and Verno are like fucking amazing. And
it's awesome chemistry.
Yeah. The thing I love about the mismatch versus like other Ringer stuff is those guys let like their personal lives slide like a little bit more. Like, and I love those keyhole glimpses like so much. I love KOC like bringing up like dates and saying something about like never like. Or like smoking weed or something like that.
Yeah, well, he also did the episode where he talked about how he was a virgin until like way later than most people. And then Vernon was like, we have a lot of people that listen to this podcast. Yeah. Like, please stop now.
I just love Verno too, because like he'll be like, yeah, I was me, Kevin. I was going to go pick up my son from juvenile detention. He had
Did
killed
you guys
several
know
dogs.
that I just found keep going. You're doing actual bit. I'm doing nothing.
Oh yeah, sorry. And we threw a couple of the dogs in the back seat, and he had his John Morant jersey on, and he was like, "Dad, last night when we were watching that game, I thought Jaren Jackson was doing a great job." And he was right. Jaren Jackson was all over the place. It was amazing. Anyway, now whenever I smell roadkill, a dead dog, like the one that my son tortured with a car battery and several garden shears, I think of Jaren Jackson coming out of the block and smacking each and every bit of that ball out of the way. And that's something I think about every day, Kevin. You're absolutely right, Chris. I think about it all the
time. It's such a good. It's so great because like Vernon just like has like a very normal, like he's like has a family, like he has a very normal life, and then Chaos he's just like an incel.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is a mismatch in every sense of the word. It's
literally the American.
I need you to actually do the Ringer 2, and all the podcasts are you just doing impressions of all the other Ringer podcasts.
You can bring like Zach Lowe back, like it's Grantland days.
Yeah. I was gonna say I literally can't do any of the other like all due respect to like Justin Verrier and like
he has
they don't have impression
voice.
We just watched Westworld season 4, episode 1.
Yeah,
I thought Sharks would be a fun voice to try.
Yeah, it's hard to like. Yeah, it's hard to.
His is really
like Waz really stands out because
really stands out.
Yeah,
that would also be problematic. You can't impersonate Waz.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't impersonate Waz.
Also, by the way, I think that every person when they come to the Ringer, they either make a choice. They either make a choice where they go, I'm gonna be either like the Kyle Manns of the world, as they would say, the Kyle Manns of the world. Where it's just like I take myself seriously. I have a little bit of like, like authenticity to me, or I'm just going to go full Bill Simmons mode.
Yeah.
And I'm going to become Waz, which is Waz is just like,
right.
I'm literally just going to be boys with Bill.
He's just like he's just like a hyperbolized version of Bill.
Yeah. No, I think I think you're absolutely right. I think that when you come in and you're building your Ringer character, you have two like stat trees, like two different like skill trees you can put points into. It's like New York media blue check mark, like, very sports media, like very
Sharks. Kyle Mann,
like
like
AOC is like the most eclectic version of that. Yeah, like
you can't like do like impersonations of them because they're so normal. Like
Jay
Kyle Mann is
like very normal.
And he's good, but he's so normal.
Yeah. And like Chris Ryan is like the Uruk Hai of their orgs, like where he's just like the super version of the like normal like person. So
also, my favorite thing about Chris Ryan is that he pretends that like he watches basketball still, and they give him a basketball podcast, and then he'll go on and he'll do an entire basketball podcast, but he's so good at radio that he can trick you into thinking that he watches basketball still.
Yeah, no, he's good at speaking. Like he's incredibly like eloquent,
very good,
but he doesn't know anything about that. He's not bad when he talks about TV. He's generally pretty interesting
because he's interested in it because he likes it.
I can't believe there hasn't been more slop, by the way. This is where we're at.
Actually,
I just fed you a 5-team trade.
That you don't know where is
it?
Put it in my hand, NB, if it's real. Put the slop in my hand.
Well, I don't know
exactly.
I don't even. Well, it's currently obviously they're having trouble assembling a package that the Jazz want collectively from the Lakers and Nets.
I can't believe Danny Ainge is being an asshole about a trade. That's shocking to me.
So obviously the Nets want to help because turning Kyrie Irving into fucking Donovan Mitchell helps them out a great deal. But the issue again is they have to send out fucking the Lakers have to send out fucking Westbrook to make this work, and they have to also get assets to the Jazz. So that's the problem they're dealing with right now.
So I do have a question for you. Do we care about the Kevin Huerter trade at all? Because I actually kind of like it for the Kings.
Of all their moves,
as long as the pick is protected, so it's a good,
heavily protected.
And also, again, they literally, it was a joke, but it's also completely real. They took Dante and upgraded to the deluxe model. They just took one of their players and got the better version.
Yeah,
I'd be ecstatic if the Sixers got Kevin Huerter.
Yeah, can I do a little VH1 behind the music here?
Yeah,
this happened like right before the Malcolm Brogdon trade. The Celtics group chats were in fucking shambles when that happened. Yeah. We were deep in the cope.
Why couldn't
we have done that? Yeah, like for the TPE, like we were in a bad spot.
That would have been a great fit.
Yeah, that was what everybody wanted. Kevin Huerter. What I said as a counter is like Justin Holiday is like a real player. The Kings always, for whatever reason, want to fucking play, and unless you're the 1 year the Boston Celtics had their pick, having a Kings pick is always a good idea.
Always great.
Yeah. It's always a great return. So like it does make me so bad when you go back through like where the Kings picked and it's like 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the year the Celtics had it 13.
Yeah.
6,
Celtics had really bad luck for that stretch.
Yeah. But anyway, but I think, I think a great trade for the Kings though. Like being honest, I mean, I still think they're going to end up giving like the 10th pick in the draft for that.
This is a good point from William Farrow. It also stops the Kings from trading any future picks for the time being. Great, protect them from themselves.
Yeah. Prevents them from doing it. But the pick is like lottery protected, then it's like top 12 protected, then it's like top 10 protected for like the few years after it could convey, and then that we didn't get any conveys after that. So all I'm saying is Sam literally just walked away. He was so pissed.
No, I threw my light back.
That was like the wind horse when he's like flying by. Yeah.
He's like, are you kidding me?
I was doing the Rubio dive for the water just out of frame. Yeah.
Did you guys watch the video of Windhorse talking about the Jazz?
Oh, we've watched it 9,000 times.
That's the best thing I've ever seen.
I did a giant bit about that.
He did a whole bit.
It was so good.
You guys all seen the one where they said it over the Hans Zimmer music, right? Like
that's
incredible. I almost cried.
He did it like they put like a Hans Zimmer score over it, and it drops in like right when he said, "What is going on in Utah?" Like like the Zimmer stuff was like as that 10th build to it, and it's the full 2-minute clip of like Wendy really fucking hamming it up, like doing the.
It's like the opening scene of like The Social Network.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta say,
I have information. I have information that will lead to the arrest of Kevin O'Connor. Parody satire.
No,
but I was just DM'd by someone who's watching this that said, Kevin O'Connor slid into the DMs of 2 women that he knows and asked, "I'd love to take you on a date to get some fries."
KFC probably apologized like in the same exact message. It was like, "I'm sorry I asked."
Okay, let me just say this though. Okay, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. First,
it's
of all.
True.
Okay, I'm gonna zig while everyone else zags.
Fries.
Yeah, as long as he like cut it out and like didn't like keep harassing them after he got rejected. More brave than those of us who don't.
Vernon probably like
you gotta give him points for that.
Getting fries with like his wife, and he was like, "I gotta try that."
Yeah,
it's. I have to say I have to respect Kevin O'Connor for being so respectful. I
unironically love Kevin O'Connor. I want to make that clear.
Great.
Like I unironically think he's incredible, and I like do not.
He seems like an incredibly nice person.
Yeah, he does. Exactly. Oh. Wait, pull that one up.
I haven't.
So, audio people for Ray Gordon, Verno shaking his head, yelling, "Some fucking fries, Kevin! You mean to tell me you see a dime, a smoke show, and you're sliding into her DMs offering her Shake Shack cheesy fries? Oh my God, Kevin! Good grief!"
I love when you play up the southern accent for Verno.
It's just you guys are gonna eat this up. Hold on. I asked, so it's like, is there any scenario where the Jazz want Ben Simmons in this situation? And he goes, "No one wants Ben Simmons in the entire league."
No one in the entire NBA wants Ben Simmons.
I can't believe we got I know that Harden's not who he used to be, but I can't believe we got James Harden for Ben Simmons.
What a salary dump that was.
Yeah.
For a guy who might never play a game in the NBA again. It's actually kind of
He's gonna keep sitting out until he gets traded to the Lakers.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Yeah. I just want to say I know that Vernon talks with a kind of southern twang to him. But I'm pretty sure he's from upstate.
No, he's not from Memphis. He's from like the Northeast.
We're saying they're trying to trade Miles Turner right now.
Who is?
Just said it.
Who said it?
Maybe he's in that.
Woj said they're trying to. Pacers are engaged in trade talks about Miles Turner. I know. What year is it? We've seen this forever.
Yeah. No, that means something though.
Could Simmons get rerouted to Indiana?
I was gonna say Woj is never. Usually when Woj says something's happening, it's actually happening. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
Woj said
that's like a real thing. Yeah, Woj said it.
Woj said it. So, that's interesting.
Also,
Miles Turner it's interesting that Miles Turner has never been traded because he's such a hypothetical fit on so many fucking teams.
Right.
Because he's always a rim protector who can shoot, and there's like 2 of those in the league.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like him and Al Horford. Oh no, Al Horford doesn't even protect the rim, so it's like
it's like Time Lord in 4 years if he stays healthy. Like
or like Anthony Davis when he was still Anthony Davis. Like
right.
Yeah.
Like it is so funny.
It's taking this
like,
long for them to.
Yes, because it's so funny that Sabonis played with him, the only guy in the league he could play with, and just fucking left. Like,
yeah. That's why I think about the Kings is like I do think that I like a lot of their moves. Like I like Malik Monk, I like Kevin Huerter. I did not like them drafting Keegan Murray over Jaden Ivey, but I also am like you have Sabonis and Fox as your best players, and like that just can't really work. Like if you want to make the 10 seed or the 9 seed, yeah, maybe it could work.
What if the Miles Turner trade is part of the 5-team trade?
That's what I just said. Yeah, like what if they reroute Ben to Indiana?
Oh, interesting. So then Turner would go to
the Nets?
Jazz. I assume?
Oh, the Jazz.
Jazz and Mitchell would go to
who
the
suddenly
Nets.
don't have a center. He would hold.
Okay, so what I've been hearing about the Jazz, but also this kind of would contradict everything we're talking about, is they're not demanding to trade Mitchell, or they're like, there's no, obviously he's under contract, there's no need for them to trade Mitchell. They would like to trade Mitchell if they think his market is peaked right now, but also if they got like a bargain guy like Ayton for not on a max or something, I think they'd be more willing to build around those guys. So I wonder if Miles Turner to Utah for all that shit they just got, or I mean not all of it, but like some of that shit they just got would make them go, you know, we could work with this. But
how does Miles Turner duck the smoke for like not being injured all the time? Because he's like kind of injured all the time.
Is he though?
Yes.
How many games played does he have? I feel like
he's only played like 80 games over the last 2 seasons.
Is that real?
No,
we talked about this. They might have held him out intentionally.
I just simply haven't watched Pacers basketball.
Yeah, I know. But I just know about it because I remember people saying that Kristaps Porzingis played more games in the last 2 years than Miles Turner.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Here's Miles Turner's games played. 60, 81, 65, 74, 62, 47, 42. So,
to be fair, the last 2 years have been kind of weird. Like I wouldn't like I don't think people were like dying to contend.
I think that's like leftover because like that's why he dropped was because like he ran weird and everyone thought he was like an injury risk, and I just don't think that like ever really came to be. Like I think he's like a reasonably safe. Like it's not like Rob. Like Rob is actually an injury risk. Like
it's true.
Yeah,
my girlfriend's actually in the comments right now. I literally can't even believe that she's popping up in the comments again. Unbelievable that she would do this. She only speaks in emojis
to get like these bots in your streams. I wonder, or how many subscribers?
Honestly, I don't know. It might be good for engagement. To be honest, if you guys want to keep like writing, like you could even write like words in there, like fucking cum or sexual intercourse or whatever you need to write in the comments to get me more people watching this stream. I'd be absolutely about it. But yeah, so I just going back to the Malcolm Brogdon thing, like Malcolm Brogdon is going to be like the 6th best player on the Celtics. That's a problem. Like that's like the Celtics 1 through 8 is by far the best in the league.
That's not even, Jackson listed it out. Frank like listed out their like top 9 or whatever.
Yeah,
it's so good, dude.
Yeah, Gallinari's our 9th best player, which is that's okay. But here's what I will say.
Good. It's not bad.
Is Peyton Pritchard the 10th guy there then?
Yeah.
Fuck!
I'd be doing like
every time it happens.
Let me make the argument though. Let me make the argument
before you speak. Every time this happens, where we all freak out about a guy who has like an injury history or is old and washed,
they always have the injury. They
always suck. Like it's like, oh, the Warriors got Boogie Cousins, or it's always like, I can't believe this is so unfair, and it never works out.
I guess like Oladipo had a couple of decent moments in the playoffs.
Sure,
yeah. It's not like he had like an ACL tear though. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Did he? I don't think he did. Right?
Brogdon's had like
no. We're talking
about. I thought we were talking about Miles Turner again.
No. Brogdon.
let me make the argument. The argument
I don't think
I'm
Miles
gonna
Turner's
make
torn his ACL.
about what the ceiling on the Celtics is not about Brogdon, though. It's about Al Horford. The clock's running out there, and he was a massively important part of our team.
Yeah,
and if Robert Williams gets hurt again, it's pretty easy to see us being pretty fucked up. Like
they win games where he plays well, and they don't win games when he doesn't play well.
Like we also have like no big depth right now. Like we're trying to get like fucking
Thomas. Yeah, you just lost Tice.
Yeah, right. So that's like our weak spot. That's by far our weak spot right now, and we really need Al Horford to be good, and that's by far not a guarantee. Like he's very old, had a renaissance season last year. He could turn back into a pumpkin just as easy. So
you guys could get Hassan Whiteside on a minimum, and I'm not even joking. That would be actually pretty good.
I kind of want Bismack Biyombo on a minimum.
Or like any like third center. Like Daniel Tice wasn't really that impactful in the playoffs anyway. Like you might as well just like try to get like a regular season center who can preserve
Rob Williams and because they're both
playoffs.
I mean, Rob Williams is an injury concern, and Al Horford's old, so you need to make sure they're fresh.
That's why I really wanted Kelly Olynyk, but again, like the tax bill is going to be like too much. Like to like get him with the TPE.
Yeah.
I think he would be like.
I worry about the billionaires all the time.
Yeah. I love what Alex Nuss says. He's asking if Chapo Trap House trades Felix for labor rights activist Ben Simmons, who's actually done direct action, unlike the Chapo Trap House.
That's true. Benson is a labor hero.
He actually sat out a strike, gotten no support from anybody else.
Good point.
So I think you've got to add on Amber Lee Frost's contract to make that work.
I agree. Yeah, that's a salary dump for sure.
Yeah. I would say you would add on Virgil Texas, but that salary that's a non-guaranteed.
The Miles Bridges of
yeah, exactly.
No, he's not allowed.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here,
motherfucker. The wildest thing for like this is going a little bit on a tangent, but when what was the podcast he was on for a second with what's her name?
Oh,
Amber
Lee Joy, from Bernie Sanders press
points or something or.
It was like Bad Faith or like
Bad Faith Pod.
No, I don't think that was it because there's a new podcast called Bad Faith.
It was Good Faith Pod. It was one of those two things. Whatever it was, he was in the picture on the Twitter for like 3 months after all that went down.
Yeah,
they were like, "Fuck, we don't have access to the page because he ran it."
He's missing, and he's missing in action. So
we're looking for.
We're gonna. You guys are going to have to do that to me when you find out that I'm actually
was Bad Faith Pod.
Yeah.
I think the new one is Good Faith Pod.
Yeah. Good Faith. Okay.
Good rebrand. Yeah.
Someone posted the picture, and I thought the guy was Virgil Texas, and I was like,
"Yeah." The one guy looks with the glasses looks exactly like that.
I was like, "That guy looks like Virgil Texas," and then yeah.
Well, you're going to have to do this on all your old episodes, Tro, with me once it turns out that I'm Sam Sheehan NBA. And you're not going to be allowed on.
He was sliding into DM, sending women bubble wrap and asking if they could step on the bubble wrap, and then send him pictures and videos back. It was very strange.
He said, "Breaking news: pretend you're a giantess, and I'm a teeny tiny Lilliputian." That was the Sam Sheehan NBA. That's why he got suspended. He shouldn't have done that.
Oh god.
He would slide into some of the most he would slide into Haley O'Shaughnessy's DMs and say, "Listen."
Oh god.
She replied to Sam Sheehan NBA
because
what'd she say?
Kevin O'Connor slid into her DMs.
She's like mentioned, she didn't like at Sam Sheehan NBA, but she like referenced Sam Sheehan NBA once, and I almost for the joke was like, like it would be pretty funny to like DM her, but I also like just don't want to like just harass a woman for like
you can't
like
a funny bit.
Nodded on the bit, like
it would be a funny bit to ask her out for fries.
Yeah,
wouldn't that be a funny bit?
Well, and the other thing is she seems like very funny and cool and like on the level. Like if she was like a bad media person, I'd like consider it more.
Of course, she
seems like pretty cool and like down to earth. So it's like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah. I'm a huge
I would do that to KOC in a heartbeat.
Right.
I would DM KOC and agree to go to fries with him as the night's NBA girl.
Just tweet it out like I will go to get fries with you.
Well, maybe a Martin twin will follow We'll take Stav's role on Compound. That's how we solve
any player in the NBA who could. I was going to say of any player in the NBA who could fill Stav's role, but before I finished, I was going to say Myers Leonard.
That would fit their ethos.
How about someone trying to launch their comedy career? Blake Griffin taking Stav's.
He's like, no. Seems like a
Blake
good
Griffin?
opportunity.
Yeah, Blake Griffin can say whatever he
They get
wants.
good engagement.
Myers, no. I mean, well, the obvious Cubtown third bike is Jackie McMullen would be the first, one for sure. But
that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Jackie.
Shout out to Jeremy from Celtics Twitter who came up with that, and it's been a brainworm in my head.
Have you guys listened to the Icons Club?
No, I've heard about
Jackie
it.
McMullen's podcast.
I'm just like, what could you what is that podcast like? What's the purpose of that? Her just being like, yeah, Larry Bird was so good.
Yeah.
Every episode, she's like,
just like reading Bill Simmons' Pantheon.
Yeah. She's literally just going down the pyramid, and she's like, Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time. He moved very well off the ball.
She could have. It's the funny thing about Jackie McMullen is she could have retired once her ESPN contract went up, and most people would remember her pretty fondly.
Yes,
and then she went to the Ringer and completely said cancelable things every 2 months.
She's the Dave Chappelle of NBA media.
Walking joke.
Yeah, she's the Dave Chappelle of NBA media, where too much, too long,
People are like, we love you in the mid 2000s. On Around the Horn, but it's not Chappelle's show was great, but it had its time.
Yeah, you gotta just leave it in the past.
Let it go.
Yeah. Your opinions on 90% of things.
The thing is, she's not that old though. She's in her early 60s, I think.
Yeah, she's also not from Boston. She's from New York.
Oh, that's amazing. I just assumed she was from Boston.
No, she pulled the Bob Ryan where she fell in love with the Celtics. Bob Ryan's from Trenton, New Jersey.
Oh, is he?
Bob Ryan's he's a traitor. Yeah.
This is worse than Pat Riley stealing Italian valor.
You're from fucking Trenton, dude.
Yeah.
You should be a fucking Sixers fan. Although when Bob Ryan was young, the Sixers probably didn't exist. Oh no, they definitely didn't exist.
He's what, 80?
There was the Spas were playing when he was.
But yeah, she was covering the league in the 80s. She was in her 20s, or she was
Yeah. She was
mid-20s.
She talked about that, about getting sexually harassed in
the
rooms. It sounded like it was pretty fucked up.
She had some pretty dicey.
Her whole thing about interviewing people in the 80s, that was when she was the most interesting. The old stories that she would tell, and then at a certain point she just became Around the Horned, which is just oh, I gotta have bits and ideas and takes, and the pardon my interruption of media.
Yeah, she was always she exists. She came into her professional career when long form still mattered. And she was really good at long form, and then everything became segmented, and she's not good in a segmented form.
You got to stay relevant, right?
Speaking of staying relevant, here's my impression of Jackie McMullen doing an impression of Joel Embiid.
And a 1, and a 2, and I love just going into a party, telling normal people that, and just being asked to leave the party immediately.
Yeah, they're like,
no, I'm doing an impression of Jackie McMullen doing an impression of Joel.
It's irony.
Not racist. Because I'm making fun of her. You don't understand.
I'm talking about how xenophobic she is. I posted that clip, and that's the reason Joel Embiid followed me on Twitter. That is the
So in a way, Jackie McMullen did a great thing.
Exactly.
When she's doing when she interviews When she interviews for Come Town, she's like, "No, all of that was ironic racism. I fit in with you."
Yeah, she's on there. She's like, "Actually, I stand against everything that I've ever said before. Yeah. If you didn't get it, then that's your fault."
Yeah, that's your fault.
Yeah, exactly. Lakers plan B might be Buddy Hield or Eric Gordon if they can't get Kyrie.
Oh man, Buddy Hield finally ending up on the Lakers would be pretty funny.
Also, why would the Rockets trade Eric Gordon? For what?
I am convinced that teams in the executives in the league think THT is like worth something.
I don't think the Rockets do though.
Maybe not the Rockets, but like he's been like bigged up in the media enough that I guarantee there are executives who think that he's worth trading for.
He's honestly like one of those. He's like an industry plant, but for basketball. Like
he's the Chance the Rapper of basketball.
Yeah,
Kings of Leon of basketball. Yeah.
Okay, if he's that, what's Nick Claxton?
Oh God.
Is Nick Claxton, other than like if you listen to a Ringer podcast, you probably don't even know who Nick Claxton is, to be fair. Like,
I'm just like, it's Speedy Claxton's son. I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless Mina Kimes is listening to this,
$10 million a year?
love Nick Claxton.
He got a $10 million extension?
Yeah, did you know
Nick Claxton did?
20?
Yeah, 2 for 20.
Here's the thing about Nick Claxton. The only person who thinks that Nick Claxton is like, I remember I had a tweet from like a year ago. Chris Herring quote tweeted it because I remember being like, oh, this is how I knew I made it. Because a year ago, Chris Herring did the crying face emojis for this. And I said, Robert Williams versus Nick Claxton. This is the NBA game for people that listen to 25 NBA podcasts every week.
Yeah.
Like no one knows who Nick Claxton is unless they listen
if
to
you go on
every
a Facebook NBA page, you can, if you searched like Nick Claxton on Facebook, guarantee you will get zero.
No, so there are players like this, by the way, you can suss out exactly which podcast someone listens to by like which player they have a weird fucking effect for. Because like KCP is like this, but for dunked on fucking losers. Like, if you think KCP is like the best player in the world, you definitely listen up. Or like if you think Juan Toscano Anderson is, or like whatever Warriors like D-lister is, you've like definitely like, I don't know, you've heard Nate do the read about being 25 years old and losing his hair. And like now he's 40 with like a full head of hair.
Daniel House is another good one. The guy that we just signed, Daniel House, is another one. Like 2 years ago, it was like Daniel House, and I'm like, Daniel House is fine.
Remember Daniel House got kicked out of the bubble for fucking?
Yeah, well, that was the cool thing.
That's cool. Yeah, I was gonna say that proves to me that you can make it.
Like if you're like into like book night, it's because you listened to like 4 episodes of the Bill Simmons podcast last year where he like obsessed on book night and the draft.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, that was so fun. It is very.
He just likes the name. Bill just falls in love with like the name that he thinks is the most fun to say, and then like that's
how the fuck was Diamond Stone not an all-star? Is what I'm gonna say.
Diamond Stone, wasn't he a Maryland player?
Yes, I'm scared Sam's gonna come back as a different character. I'm scared. So scared.
He's gonna come back in
costume change.
He's gonna come back wearing problematic makeup. So someone just DM'd me about the Good Faith thing and said that he was still in their banner, but I can't find Good Faith podcast. So
the Bad Faith podcast,
or was that the name of?
Yeah, the name of theirs was Bad Faith.
Okay, hold on.
It was really bad too.
I never listened to it. Hold on. He's still in the fucking.
That's wild.
Yeah. But I guess the podcast is gone, right?
Boy, she went from being.
Oh no, they're still around.
She went from being from like leading Bernie's campaign to working with Virgil Texas real quick.
How do you fall off?
How about a fall from grace?
Hard?
Jeez Louise.
Jesus Christ, dude. All right, so fuck.
I think so by the way, one more thing I want to touch on, I remembered while I was getting water. Mm-hmm. I do want to say this about KOC because I think it's one of his most endearing traits, and he is very courageous about his NBA draft board, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for that because it makes him look really fucking stupid sometimes. But I also wish more people did that.
It's not like
he's doing his own thing. Where the thing that I hate the most about NBA draft Twitter is that everybody is just it's so it's so herd mind. Like everybody says the same exact thing because they're scared to get like ratioed for not saying the same thing as whoever your other favorite draft person is.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, I agree.
Well, a lot of my favorite guys all got front office jobs that I like used to be cool with. Like I used to like when I had like my podcast back in the day, we talked to like Cole Zwicker and like Sam Vecini and those guys, and they're all like hired now.
Yeah.
I don't see those guys tweeting anymore, and it's like, oh yeah, they just like have jobs. Like,
they have normal lives.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They can't.
No,
like,
KOC definitely goes for it, and someone with his profile, it's like it's cool that he at least does that.
Yeah.
I really hope KOC gets hired by like a team. Some like I feel like the Mavericks will hire him. No, I think the Mavericks will hire him.
He gets paid way more money now. I
bet. He gets hired by the Mavericks because he's just a fan of Mark Cuban and everything he's done in the business.
I think KOC will be hired.
I have a cultural fit there. Yeah. But I just want to say the thing about KOC. Speaking of like,
he's like, I'm fiscally libertarian and socially libertarian.
This idea that like KOC gets like he loves his draft board and like he doesn't like get divorced from his draft board like most guys do. Mm-hmm. Like we're like Chad Ford and like Jonathan Givony will go back and like edit their old draft board. Like
Givony sucked, dude.
Jonathan Givony changed his draft board 5 minutes before
so whack.
The pick was made and
That's
put
awesome.
Paulo Banchero.
There's the Paolo one.
Yeah. So there was that, but like the thing about KOC is like he'll do this thing where like we talk about like this idea that he has of players where like we talked about Nicholas Claxton a little bit ago where he'll be like if Nicholas Claxton is like a good lob threat and like he's a decent defender and he does like a lot of things, he can't shoot free throws for shit, but like everything else he's like pretty crafty. But when he was in college, he like ran the offense and he like passed more and he shot more, and they'll always talk about this. And I'm like, yeah, because he was in college.
Yeah, and
like, Semi Ojeleye on those Semi Ojeleye on those SMU teams was like a fucking engine, an offensive engine. And he's like one of the least skilled NBA players I've ever seen in my entire life.
Like Diamond Stone was a bucket and problem at Maryland in 2012.
Also, Semi Ojeleye wasn't even the best player on those SMU teams, by the way. Shake Milton was better. So
that's true.
Was Sterling Brown on those teams too?
He might the earlier teams, I think, maybe.
The other thing that the other like cop out thing that KOC does do with his like, I do like that he sticks with like he sticks with his convictions, but all of his comps he picks 2 players. It'll be like a Hall of Famer and then a guy who's out of the league.
No, that's like the joke. Yeah, no, like he always.
He's like, well, I said he might be a bust.
Yeah, no, he'll always do something like really well. And especially this year, like I felt like this year when I looked at his board, it was particularly egregious. Where it was like 2 All-NBA guys and then like an All-Star, like for like the first 10 picks were all like 3 comps like that.
Oh yeah,
he'll be like Jaden Ivey is either going to be Allen Iverson or Marshawn Brooks.
One of my favorites was so 2 of my favorites of the recent Sixers picks, I believe. Tyrese Maxey was Bradley Beal, Kyle Lowry, and Carson Edwards, which if you follow what Tyrese Maxey does, he's nothing like pretty much any of those players. He got a little bit of his game that like could be maybe compared to Bradley Beal and Kyle Lowry. He's nothing like Carson Edwards, who was like a perimeter. Carson Edwards offensively in college was like Damian Lillard. Like he was,
he was insane, dude.
He was like a
guy like Jackson Frank was huge on Carson Edwards, and because he was awesome in college.
He was awesome in college, but like my whole thing was like Tyrese Maxey was very much like a speeding bullet, like shot out of a cannon type guy. Carson Edwards was more like a Damian Lillard pull up 3-point, get your own buckets from the perimeter. Maxey was like a slashing, like fucking get your buckets like at the rim type guy. And it's what's funny is that he had those 3 for them, which is like funny because I remember tweeting at the time being like, so if this guy has 2/3 of a chance of being an all-star, which is Lowry or Beal,
why is he going 21?
How is he not the
wasn't he 15th on his board?
He was like 17th or something.
That's like that. It's like
and I was like,
scared to like
3rd pick, like the. And then the other guy, funny enough, also a year later that the Sixers drafted was Jaden Springer, who had 21st on his board, I think. And he had his comps as Kyle Lowry and Malcolm Brogdon. And I was like, that should literally be like the 2nd pick in the draft. If your comps are like
Yeah, that's an amazing turnout.
Sub all-star, like you should literally go second or third.
Here's what I will. Let me defend KOC real quick though.
I
also don't think like any other draft board does that though.
No, they don't.
Like has their like he just like fucked himself by like trying to give better analysis, which is like very on point for KOC. Like he tries to go a little bit more over the top to like make something a little nicer, and just totally fucks everything up and gets made fun of for it.
You know what?
The Bucks one was incredibly stupid. Sorry, I'm talking over Matt, but go ahead, Matt. Finish up
real quick. My theory that I just thought of is that like he's doing all of these comps of like all-stars and stuff so that like, because Bill Simmons doesn't watch college basketball, so that like Bill understands or he like recognizes the names he's comping. He's like, oh, I know that guy.
Right.
And then he can be like,
that's how he loves his guys. He's like, oh, Tyrell Terry is like better Seth Curry. Oh man, we should draft him immediately. And then he's like horrible. He's like, yeah, he's a trash.
Yeah, but what were you saying?
All right. So the KOC entire Bucks column, he'd clearly never watched a Bucks game.
I remember you posted that in chat.
I was like losing my fucking mind. Like he was talking about how Serge Ibaka leaving was going to be a huge loss for the Bucks, even though he didn't. Yeah, what? Sam's face. Clearly, he was like, "Well,
he didn't play." That was like the thing that fucked up their season is they traded a guy who might have been able to play for a guy who literally didn't play.
No, Dante would have not done anything in the Celtics series. He would have made it worse.
I don't know. I mean, Serge didn't play. But anyway, regardless.
We got picks with Serge, by the way. Yeah. We didn't just get nothing.
Okay. Yeah, no. You guys have never done anything wrong. I agree.
Okay.
MB, you're the biggest homer I've ever met.
Okay, obviously.
You guys aware Chris Middleton was hurt during the Celtics
I would
series.
rather jump off a bridge than have to have a Bucks extension with Dante DiVincenzo discussion. Because
to be fair, you did not like Dante from the jump. I agree. I do. Yeah, I remember like a year ago, you were like, "This guy's thighball. He's shitty."
So no, what happened is they won the championship, and my brain has been broken forever. So
yeah, I get that.
Anyway, so KOC was like, they need Walker Kessler.
Yeah, new Brook Lopez.
Like, no, we don't need a Brook Lopez replacement. And by the way, Walker Kessler is nothing like Brook Lopez. We need a fucking wing. And then we took Marjan Beauchamp. But like, in his entire blurb was like, they have so much work to do. They're not going to be able to retain Wes, Bobby, and Javon Carter, who Bud doesn't know exists. And
also,
it's like,
if you're drafting for need at the end of the first, like, you're probably going to get a shitty player, just generally speaking. Like,
I have a severe case of Raptor.
Draft the best player and then see how it turns out.
I don't have Raptor-itis. I love my top four deeply, and also they won a championship, unlike the Raptors. Like, obviously, they have Siakam. Siakam and Van Vliet were there. But
well, you don't have Raptor-itis because you don't act like Jordan Noir is good.
Oh, no, he's like, I want him cut.
Right. So but, like, there were Raptors fans would be like, we could maybe package Jordan Noir for Kevin Durant.
I think if you
That's how I know Malachi Flynn is dog shit, because even
I never hear about him.
Right.
Okay, I think if you go listen to our Overreactions podcast, that was like the first month of the season. Wara looked like he was gonna be a fucking rotation piece, and I was like, holy fucking shit! Right? I'm like, this dude's fucking, because like he had like 20 points in the opener against the Nets and just kept playing well,
right.
And then he just forgot how to play basketball. It was incredible. Like the most.
You had Raptors break. Yeah, I mean, he did the Shake Milton thing where the first month of the season it looks amazing, and you're like, Shake Milton, future All-Star, and then you're like, never mind.
Yeah,
he sucks actually.
Yeah, I was like, I made all these jokes about how he was like. Anyway, yeah, he's fucking dark. I can't believe we gave him a qualifying offer. It's insane to me.
Can I say something?
I have Slop.
Yeah,
it's the minorest.
You go take Slop first, then.
It's the minorest of Slop, and no one will care but me. The rumor, and it's a rumor that has some sort of credence because this guy, Giannis, Pat, and a couple other people, Javon, a bunch of other people are over in Greece right now for the premiere of Rise, and they were working out over there. That reporter was there, and he conveniently the same day wrote an article that says the Bucks are interested in trading for Jay Crowder, which is just interesting to me.
What would that salary be? He's $10 million. So
I would assume it's Grayson Allen, but I don't know what that does for either team.
So I wouldn't be surprised.
But also, the Suns would trade Jay Crowder to cut salary, right? Like, I don't understand why they would trade for Grayson Allen. But
how much does Grayson Allen make? 13?
$9 million.
Dude, I think Jay Crowder's 10, so I think you are technically cutting salary.
And also Kevin Durant could get traded to the
That's true, but it would be like
Jay
break
Crowder.
down in like our extra seconds. I don't know what it would
I was
take
gonna say,
to get Jay Crowder.
do you
but-
guys have firsts you could trade?
No,
right?
we did. Oh God, our last available first was, I guess we could trade our 2029 first for Jay Crowder, but like, good God, that's
No one cares about that. Yeah.
No.
like that 2029 first has got to go. Like, obviously, we are contending now. Fuck the 2029 first. Like, fuck whatever the 13-year-old that pick represents, but there's got to be something better than Jay
Yeah, those
Crowder.
picks they're not even real to me.
Yeah, the world's not going to be we're not going to be playing basketball by 2029. So who the fuck cares?
Right,
Yeah.
Sam? Right, Zach?
They're gonna be- Welcome to the Low Post Podcast, where we are on the plains of the apocalypse, and the Death Riders are riding down on us, and there is no water. And my wife, who is Croatian, I'm going up against Canada with her, and there's hockey going on, and I don't know what's going on. And here to help me make sense of it is ESPN's Tim Bontemps, calling live from maximum security, the Magneto jail cell from X-Men 2.
All right, so the one thing that I have to say about Ben Simmons and the apocalypse, and obviously he's got, obviously the thing about Ben Simmons is now that the apocalypse hit us, and you're thinking about how he's going to fit in with the Indiana Pacers, is he's really fast. He's going to be able to forage food much faster than most of the other NBA players. He likes to give assists, so he's going to be able to give it to his teammates. I think that if you have Ben Simmons on a decent deal, probably 5 for 17 or 17 per annually, I think that you're going to be in a much better place because he's really fit. He's going to be able to forage food much faster than the other players. In the
Can I just say, by the way, Bontemps is a fucking god, dude. I want him back on
cool, dude.
podcasts and shit. He's so awesome. He fucking hates his coworkers so much. I love it. He's awesome.
Dude, the funniest thing I've ever heard was when someone, it might have been Sam or Matt, I can't remember, but they told me that Bontemps he chose to drive between Philadelphia and Toronto during the Raptors-Sixers series. He didn't want to fly, and he drove 7 hours.
Awesome. God, he fucking rules.
And the best part about this was that
he's so cool.
Between game 4, then 2 days later, you had game 5 in Toronto. Or I'm sorry, game 5 in Philly. So he had to go from game 4 in Toronto back to Philly, 7 hours, and then a day later back to Toronto for game 6. So he was literally driving.
Awesome. It's crazy you say all that stuff and then he was driving.
So can I get another Bontemps story? So a mutual of mine who will never remain unnamed because I don't think he wants to throw out. Commented under a Bontemps thing because he has a cameo and he didn't fulfill the cameo request, and Bontemps DM slid him and was very apologetic. Was sorry, I've just been so busy. And was nah, it's okay, man. You don't have to worry about it. It's awesome. So I love that Bontemps is a man of the people. He's anti-work because he fucking hated covering the beats.
100%.
He fucking hates.
Yeah.
He's an anarchist.
I love Bontemps.
The other thing I think is so funny is that everyone's people have been have said that him and McMahon's thing is a joke. I think he actually does hate Tim McMahon with all of his heart.
He hates Windhorse too. I
think he's told that he has to go on that podcast, and I think it ruins his entire week.
Yeah. It's awesome, dude.
I think he likes talking to Zach Lowe, and that's probably the only other person that he'll talk to.
Yeah, because Zach does a whole theater act when he comes in, and he's like, Tim, whatever, and then Tim will be like, I hope James
Zach's
Harden
the
dies on
Seinfeld
the court
of
this
NBA
week.
of the NBA.
Welcome back to the Low Post Podcast.
I didn't realize it until
I don't know if you guys. Sam, did you listen to the Low Post today? Because he did your thing. He was
he did. Yeah.
What did he say?
What a day in free agency!
Yeah, it's amazing. We're gonna be talking about, and let me be clear: the Miami Heat are not trading this, dude. This is speculation, but I think the Miami Heat would love to get their hands on Scotty Barnes and get him in the door. Now, if I am the Toronto Raptors, I'm hanging up immediately. I'm not entertaining Scotty Barnes for Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. That's just not happening. But if you got him into Heat culture, if you got him in there, boy, Tim McMahon, boy, are we looking at something there?
We are.
I can't process it. I would probably just get out, leave the studio, and drink a beer if that trade happened.
You
like
literally
he started talking about.
Did you not listen to the podcast today, Sam?
Yeah.
No, because he does the like, what are things? What?
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
A list.
He did that thing. He's like, things? Is that a thing? Is that I can't
Is that
remember
a
what he
list?
said though.
Oh, who's on? Who's
Sam,
on
he literally
Kevin
was like,
Durant's
I need
list?
to be over so I can step out of the
Oh, yeah,
studio
what is a
and
list?
take a fucking break. I'm like, wait, Sam, did you listen or not?
Yeah. No. He goes. He started
yeah,
like bringing up
list-
drinking
are
like
lists real?
way more
What's a list?
often, which is awesome. I love that for him. He's like he
Sam,
like wants to kill
Have
himself.
you really considered starting a podcast called The Faux Post or FAUX Post, and you just pretend?
Oh, that'd be pretty good.
I've thought about if I could do like 2 more NBA sports personalities. I tried to get my
Can you
Arnavitz
do Windhorse?
together, and it's like a little too hard. Like if I could do an Arnavitz a little better.
Can
and,
you
like,
do
a
Windhorse?
I will
conversation.
lock myself in a room and learn one if it will make this happen.
Yeah.
I will happily do Bontemps. I can really like work
Your
up.
podcast is amazing. Yeah. I know. What's up, Zach? Yeah, I just thinking about the Atlanta Hawks. It's something.
No, yeah, you could do it. If you were, yeah, that's pretty good.
Bit of fancy for me. I've always been just so enraptured by the concept of a romantic type of basketball, something that is truly effervescent and something.
And he would be like, you'd be like,
spectacular.
think about the Atlanta Hawks. The way they approach free agency is very derelict to me.
It is.
It's very bohemian.
He just always has these insane, like for the Arnavitz, you've always just got to talk in like the most flowery language, and like he wants to write prose about basketball is like like defining characteristic.
He wants to be like the
English
Walt Whitman of
TA, right?
basketball.
Isn't that the way you describe it? The best way I would describe it is like if you've ever been to Princeton, New Jersey, that's how everyone that like goes to Princeton talks.
Yeah, that's
how,
pretty spot on. No,
yeah, that's how Arnavitz talks on a basketball podcast.
So my dad was a
and his
keeper.
podcasts are always the longest ones. It's always like the 12 teams we're both fascinated in for like an hour and 40 minutes.
I mean, he's my enemy because he's like always shitting on Jason Tatum because like he made the like Celtics like, do it again, and he's like a small market like merchant, so he's like carrying water.
Of course, yeah, he loves it.
You can always predict exactly what he's going to say.
Yep.
Like Zach, I love the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm so in love with their story. Karl Anthony Towns was out the door a few weeks ago, and here comes Anthony Edwards. Here comes Patrick Beverly, and these guys just banded together to make just something bigger than themselves. And I think that's beautiful. I really think that's just something special. And call me a romantic. Call me something. This is just it's fascinating. It's something I think everyone should. And then Zach's just like, yeah.
I agree, Kevin.
He's like, so my fourth team is the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Please look at the screen right now for my favorite buzzword from Kevin Arnavitz from Landon.
Institutional knowledge. Absolutely.
Institution.
Institutional knowledge. That's
the
so
Phoenix
good.
Suns just have a lot of institutional knowledge since Chris Paul was sent to the team in 2020.
And something delightful about Chris Paul.
Delightful.
Teaching all of their young guys.
He says delightful so much.
Yeah,
it's something fantastic. Like he's just like he's jacking off with this thesaurus like the entire fucking like thing. And
he's like, when I watch the Sioux Fall Heat, there's something oddly poetic about the way that Omar Yurtseven is running.
I want to be clear. This doesn't mean that I don't like the Rio Grande Vipers. I love the Rio Grande. I watch them every day. But there's something great about Sioux Falls, about the Fort Wayne Mad Ants.
I would pay money to hear an Arnavitz Ryan Russillo collab pod.
Oh my
God.
Can you imagine? Oh my God.
By the way, speaking of ringer personalities who give you a keyhole glimpse into their life, and it's amazing every time, Russillo is the fucking god
so
of
good.
that.
Oh, no, yeah. I know
14-year-olds and
Yeah. No, Russillo is like somehow Russillo has never been married. I found this out, and he has the most divorce guy energy of anyone in the entire world, like bar none. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's because he proposed to his girlfriend in 2002, and she like rejected him, and I think she like cheated on him with one of his friends, and so like that's where the divorce guy energy is coming.
Yeah,
from.
well,
I would kill myself on podcast air before I ever said that. Ever. Like, and it's amazing. Like, but it's so strange to me because Russillo seems like a guy who would like absolutely not share that information under any circumstances. So it's so weird.
He's the type of guy that like only share. You would think would only share like the good stuff.
Yeah, but to be fair, like Russillo he's kind of like a hustle rapper, right? Like
interrupt with Slop, but it is from Austin Krell. So
no way. Yeah. Everybody, get out of your cars.
Yep. No, stay in your cars. Then he won't hit you. He's gonna hit your car if you get out of the car.
I didn't want that one to come out.
Yeah.
He is claiming Miles Turner to Brooklyn, Joe Harris to Indiana thing. Maybe develop. That's the Turner schlot going on right now.
Where does he get? Where is what?
We don't even.
It's probably not real. Just moving. I saw it, so I mentioned it. Moving on.
Repeat it again.
It's Joe Harris. Apparently, Joe Harris and stuff to Indiana and Miles Turner to Brooklyn. I don't know.
My favorite part about this is that like
Brooklyn would have Miles Turner and Nick Claxton
and Ben Simmons.
Yes.
Well, Ben Simmons and Miles Turner would.
No, they would actually work well together. Yeah, that would make sense.
Sure. But also, are they comparing Miles Turner, Ben Simmons?
Sorry, no. Ben Simmons and Miles Turner is like the homeless man's Giannis and Brook Lopez.
There you go.
Yeah.
I just don't. My thing that I love about Russillo is he's always trying to like go against the grain, but he's like fighting battles against like Stephen A. Smith and like First Take. And it's like we always do this. Why are we always like pitting guys against each other? Like he always like picks like weird like battles.
He's the ultimate straw man guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But my favorite thing is that like he planted his flag on Chris Paul. And then when Chris Paul was like proven to be like somewhat of a playoff failure this past time around,
then he took Steph Curry.
But he was literally like the most depressed I've ever heard a person on a podcast, and it didn't sound like a bit.
Yeah, like, I think he like really, really, really invested.
He was just like, yeah, whatever. That makes me feel better.
He's like a tough guy who's like proud of how much he works. Like he always like slides in and mentions like how much like
that's what I'm saying.
It is shocking that he is not like working. He's not like high up at Barstool.
I mean, he probably could be if he wants to be.
No, that would be whole thing makes more sense.
Right. But he's
probably like a little bit too old. Like I feel like he's like
that's what I mean. Like he would have to have been like Big Cat or like one of the older guys.
But my whole thing is like when I talked about like he's like a struggle rapper, where like struggle rappers will talk about like how they didn't get like laid in high school, and then they'll use that as like their fuel and their motivation to like prove it. But like Russillo does that, but just with like podcasting. And
Russillo is Eminem's character in 8 Mile for the past 22 years of his life
for podcasting,
which is literally just for like, what if Miles Turner is the Al Pacino of the NBA, and you're like, that's so fucking true. I never even thought about that. No, I never thought about it, but now that you say it like that, it makes total sense in my brain.
The final scene of 8 Mile was him going on a radio show and doing an opening monologue, and then the other podcaster got up and walked out of the stadium, walked out of the studio. Like when he just gives him the microphone back at the end, and that's the big culminating moment.
He's like, are we really gonna do the Klay Thompson thing? And then the guy just like walks out.
Do the Klay Thompson.
It's so good, dude.
Speaking of the Ringer, you guys know the Rewatchables podcast?
Yeah, of course.
I've never listened to one.
I never actually watched it, but yeah.
It seems insane. Like it seems insane that's a pod. Like that people listen.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
it
no,
seems
it's
like
wild.
made up there.
So the most recent one is Project X. And so I dabbled. I was like,
no
I was
way.
like, this is gonna
How
be
are they not out of movies yet?
Yeah, no. So I was like, this is gonna be problematic. So it was him, and then Jacoby, or from Jalen and Jacoby. What's Jacoby?
Is he part of the Ringer now, or is he on ESPN still?
I think he's still on ESPN. But so I found out that's his favorite movie of all time, and like
Project X.
Yeah, Jacoby could not speak higher of Project X.
Okay.
He said he saw it 3 times in theaters.
That's amazing.
I saw it once and was bored out of my mind.
Yeah, I was like,
movie
okay,
is
no,
not
I
even
feel
good.
like I need to like wipe my brain.
That's
But
so
the one
good.
thing is that Bill Simmons, because he loves to talk about like how he's poisoning his son. He was like, apparently he let him watch it like 3 years ago. And like Ben Simmons is like, I'm gonna throw a Project X party. Like, you just wait. And like Bill's like, we'll see about that. And it's definitely going to happen.
I love it is like very funny to see like a real life version of like when Chapo Trap House does like the Caleb saga, like when they read like they like found this Boston columnist who just like uses his column in like the Globe to talk about how shitty his son is. And he's done it like a billion times, and his like name is Caleb. He's like named him, and I love that Bill Simmons like essentially does that for like, but for his kids and for like sicker people. Like, I don't understand how Bill Simmons has the audience he has read the emails he's read, and still is like, you know what I need to make part of this world? My daughter, my 16-year-old daughter. Needs to like be.
He gave her a literal podcast when she was like 12.
The biggest fucking perverts and sickos in the world, sports fans and his own listeners. Like,
yes.
like that. I just cannot. I would like want that to be just as far away from like my children as possible.
It is so funny because, like she's been on podcasts before, his podcast before, obviously.
Yeah.
And she's like very like seems smart and well spoken. Like, and so clearly like he did not like take interest in her childhood like whatsoever. Mm. And then like his son Ben is just like literally going to be in jail within the next 2 years. Yeah. Just like a horrendously bad person.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. I love the video of the infamous one where he took Bill's phone and posted on his Instagram while he's golfing. It says the world's biggest pussy. And the child sounds like he's like 7. Like he's so small. It's such a young child boy. It's like.
By the way, I just want to share something to the screen real quick. Mm-hmm. What a funny thing this is.
Yeah, you just clear.
Wait, okay, so we want Donovan Mitchell, but Emmanuel Quickley is off the table.
Yeah.
RJ Barrett, you know, he might be 80% as good as Donovan Mitchell in 4 years. So we
draw the line
to trade the combination of picks and players that would take to get him.
I would understand wanting to try to keep RJ Barrett, sort of.
Sure.
Like, it's Donovan Mitchell, it's not fucking Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but you could but
if you want to theoretically build around. I'm talking over you, Matt. I'm sorry. You
want
to build around RJ Barrett and Mitchell, and I guess Jalen Brunson, but like.
But you just traded picks and shit for Jalen Brunson for some fucking reason. Like, that's the thing. Like, why are you hesitant to make the move for a?
Does Donovan Mitchell's father a coach?
Yeah. Okay. But seriously, how old is Donovan Mitchell? 26.
His father is Dwayne Wade.
Oh fuck yeah, I forgot. No.
Yeah, and then
what?
Jalen Brunson is how old? Also 25 or 24.
He's older.
Like just trade for Mitchell and see what you can do with Brunson. Be more interesting than anything the Knicks have done in the past 10 years.
Jalen Brunson is also 25. They're like August and September. They're like literally the same age.
Yeah.
So what is this? Why? Like, because I agree. If you're rebuilding and you're as far away as the Knicks are, yeah, you probably shouldn't make that move for a guy
for sure
and give up all your shit when you can't get anything else because you're just gonna be stuck in mediocrity. But you already fucking did this.
Yeah. How many times did you do this?
I don't think we discussed on here the sheer brilliance of the Knicks avoiding tampering by hiring Rick Brunson. And then just making Rick Brunson be the only one who talks to Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Also, you know who Jalen Brunson's agent is, right?
Isn't it?
Leon Rose's son.
It's Leon Rose's son. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
the most
it is.
brilliant tampering
Yeah.
avoidance scheme I've ever seen. It's just you just talk to your dad. You can't get tampered.
He's allowed to
It's not
talk to his
tampering
dad.
if
It
you
is
talk to
funny
your
because
dad.
it's like
It's literally George Senior in Arrested
Right.
Development.
they can't arrest
And put a
him
tampering charge on a son and a father.
for the same crime.
I don't think that's true, Dad. I've got the worst fucking agents.
So it's funny to me. It reminds me of when the Sixers went all out to impress Tobias Harris, and they signed Terry Harris, who is his brother, who's not an NBA player, to a G League contract. He played at North Carolina A&M and was a role player, and it's he was never ever gonna sniff the G League or the NBA, and they were
right
we gotta
before we
really
signed him to the
impress him, and then it's you just signed Tobias Harris to the biggest contract for any non-all-star in NBA.
Yeah, I don't think you need to. If you're gonna give that guy $180 million, I don't think you need to impress him by signing his shitty brother.
It's not Giannis. You don't have to sign his brothers. It's not
J.R. Smith.
I think he's gonna be good with $180 mil.
J.R. Smith or Goran Dragic or any of those.
Yeah. I think are we running low on Slop at this point?
Yeah. I think it might be time to wrap it up soon.
As soon as we hang up, Miles Turner trade's going to happen, so we should hang up.
Yeah. Actually, it's a good point. If I end the stream, during the streams, no trades ever happen. So we should probably end this.
Yeah,
all right. See you guys in an hour when we reconvene.
If you drop it, they will stop it.
Sounds good. When the Donovan Mitchell trade happens in an hour, and then the Kevin Durant trade happens an hour after that, I'll talk to you guys.
Yeah, no. Again, Phil, if there is a need for an emergency Slop stream, hit me up.
I'll be around. Yeah.
And real quick, just a quick prediction because I might fall asleep. If they do trade Durant to the Grizzlies, mark my words, Arnovitz will be the guest on the Low Post. And he will fucking cream himself that a superstar went to a small market team.
It's welcome to the Low Post. I'm joined by the Kevin Arnowitz.
What's up, Zach? Wow, Kevin Durant with the Memphis Grizzlies. The small market is back, and I love this story. I think it's delightful. And I think the Nets got a great player in Jaren Jackson Jr. I think they got a great player in Desmond Bane. But this is a great thing for a team. I have a romantic spot for the grit and grind. For Zach Randolph, for Marc Gasol, the beautiful game, the Spain pick and rolls, just the stuff they were working on, and to see Kevin Durant come in and just be part of it, I think this is absolutely amazing. Well, and they gave up a lot of picks. And, those picks are going to be. Well, I mean, the world might be on fire. We might all be dead. My wife might have killed me by then. I don't know. Those picks won't be worth anything. So.
Fuck, that's so good. You should write a full story.
I have
a high note.
I am logging off. All right.
Get it.
All right. Okay. Before Sam